I'm a survivor.
Yo, it's Varner from Survivor, the Australian Outback in Cambodia. Second chance. You don't have to dig. No climbing, no lying to anybody. You have found Survivor's hidden idol on the internet. And you didn't even need a clue, because they ain't got one. It's Survivor Talk with D&D. Dwayne and David. Take it away.
So if you feel me, put your hands in
Hello. This is Survivor Talk with D&D. I am Dwayne.
And I am David.
And we are just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. And my friends, let me tell you what, it has been too long. David, it's been too long.
How long
that
has
Randy
it been?
Travis song? Well, you know that Randy Travis song? Yeah, you've been too gone for too long. Dave, I just missed you.
I could say that I think I know almost every Randy Travis song. I'm not sure if that's good now or bad now, but yes, I do know.
Well, we are here not because of Survivor, even though, you know, everything's leaked and everybody supposedly knows everything. We don't. I actually am not looking at next season because when it starts, I'm going to be all over it. So I'm waiting, enjoying my time off. But we have an Everest show coming up, David. We're going to do a movie talk with about Everest. We might do it while we're together. Don't know. Because I'm going to be at David's house in about 4 days. 3 days.
You could come sooner so I could stop cleaning. That would be even better.
Oh, don't you hate it? Don't you hate it whenever people start coming over and you got to clean?
I would rather get shots in my arms and sleep outside in Maine than have to clean my house.
Yeah. Well, but before we introduce our guest, my parents were supposed to come this last weekend. My dad ended up in the ER, so I cleaned the whole house for nothing. Isn't that horrible? My dad's doing great, though. Otherwise, I wouldn't be joking about it. But my dad's doing absolutely wonderful. So if you saw that on Facebook and thought about us, we really appreciate it. So we have two very special guests tonight because tonight we're talking about the 4th Durham Warriors Survival Challenge up in Maine, Bob Crowley event. I got the wonderful privilege of going last year and being a cameraman. And David played last year. What place did you get, David?
Pre-merge. I have no idea what number it was. I stopped counting.
It was too early, David. It was too early. And we've all heard him talk about it. We all know the mistakes he made, so we don't have to rehash those.
Like you just did. Thank you.
No, I didn't say anything about anything. If you want to hear about it, go listen to our show with Dr. Jill. She has a great time telling David all the stuff he did wrong on the show. But he also did a lot of good stuff on the show. But he and his family went this year and had a great time, and he got to be behind the scenes and do some of the stuff I got to do last year. He got to do some of the confessionals and things like that. So that was really fun. And so we have two guests, and I'm going to let David introduce them. And really, David's going to take the show on. And if my screen goes to my little cartoon figure, I'm probably playing a round of Clash Royale and just enjoying the show with the rest of you. All right? So here we go, David. Let's introduce our guests, and let's get on with the show.
We have 2 of our 3 guests with us already. The third one is trying to get ready, I presume. He hasn't responded yet. But we have the 7th place finisher, the biggest threat left in the hospital, so they took her out first. Didn't want to mess around, take a chance on letting her get too far. She was quite the fan favorite. Well, I think the youngest player out there. This is Amanda. So introduce yourself, Amanda. Tell everybody where you're from or how much you want to reveal.
Sorry, Amanda. The crowd just...
My name is Amanda. I'm from Hastings, Michigan. I go to Michigan State University, and I'm also in the Navy. And I love Survivor. I've watched every single season ever since season 5, Thailand, and I love the show a lot.
Awesome.
So, have you submitted a video?
For the real show?
Yes.
Yes. 4 of them.
4?
Yes.
How old are you, Amanda?
I'm on in August, but I'm still 20 right now.
All right.
So remember this face, those of y'all that are watching this video, because I think you're going to be meeting 2 people that could very easily get on the show and make a big impact on the show. That would
be awesome.
I'm going to be honest. A lot of them are in their chat room, so I'm not saying this because you're in the chat room, but there are a ton of people I would have liked to have had on this podcast. But it's you got to keep it small to some degree because you want to keep the conversation rolling, give everybody a chance to say a lot. But there were a lot of great personalities in this season. A lot of them are in our chat room right now. But Amanda was one of those, and our other guest was the winner of Durham Warriors Survival Challenge Season 4. This is Ryan.
Do I get a cheer? Come on.
He's so used to the applause, he's figured it was coming.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Ryan.
Something.
I'm 24 years old from Bloomington, Illinois. I've been watching Survivor literally since day one, May 31st, 2000. So seen every season, probably at least twice, if not some of the earlier ones, multiple times. So doing this is a dream come true, and maybe one day we'll see if I'll do the real thing.
I think people
awesome.
should be doing the real thing.
Thanks.
We do have a third guest, Jason. I don't know where he is. He actually called me Friday in a panic because he thought we were doing this Friday night. He called me like at 7:30. He said, "Are we supposed to be getting online?" I said, "No, it's Sunday." He said, "Okay, I'll see you then." I'm not sure where he is, so he'll probably show up. He might be
just trimming his beard, prepping it for live.
Yeah, really.
Derek Meredith wrote, "Just give him the check already."
Exactly. So, this was a really good season. Like Dwayne said, this year I got to be on the production side. Andy Baker and Big Mike alright let me sit in on confessionals. They gave me a little leeway on Saturday. I went and did some one-on-one confessionals with everybody between challenges and travel. And as much as I love the game, I think my love for the strategy and the backside of the game is what I'm really attracted to. And I just had a blast on Saturday talking to everybody and listening to their theories and their plans and their progress and where they thought they stood, and then kind of laughing in the back of my head as because they were so wrong. But anyway, I just had a ball, and this is what I really love to do. And I wanted you guys, we're not going to go hour by hour, but I wanted to start with, because I know that some people listen to this podcast, one or two people probably listen to it, just to prepare for their turn when they find out their plan. They go on the internet and they Google DWSC, they find out what people did, how people won. In fact, Keith listened to our podcast, and then the night before the game started in his hotel, he listened to it again. The one with Wendy, who won last year, and Joel from season 1. And I was flattered that he said that, but I'm sure people are going to listen before next year. So I want to ask you guys, Ryan, I'll let you go first. What did you do once you found out you were on? Did you change your training? Did you do anything different? Did you eat anything different? How did you prepare to go out there? And did it work? And all this kind of stuff.
I probably have the worst advice. I mean, I really didn't do anything drastically, physically different. Knowing it's only 4 days, I was pretty much good with where I was. I kind of the only thing I majored in toward the end, I drink coffee every day. So about a month out before that, I just stopped drinking coffee and kind of feeding completely, so I wouldn't go through any caffeine withdrawal when I first got there. And there were a couple days of headaches, so I would, if you're a coffee drinker or soda drinker, I'd probably recommend at least doing that about a month out, just kind of cut that from your life, which I may stick to. We'll see. I do like my coffee though. Really, I mean, training wise, no, nothing really. I mean, I run, I do yoga. That's kind of pretty much it. Nothing major there. I mean, really, I think it's just kind of, mentally prepping yourself to. I mean, it's. I've always thought and I always will think it's a social game. Physically you can be super strong, super weak, but if you have a killer social game, I think that's really the most important thing to have. So, be prepared to suffer a little physically. I mean, I got pretty banged up, so you'll be tired, you'll be hungry, you'll kind of be mentally out of it toward the end too, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's 4 days, you can do it.
There you go. What about you, Amanda?
Yeah, I honestly as well didn't do much to prepare for it. I did try to run a little bit more, so I did some running. But I mean, other than that, what I wanted to go for was just have fun. I knew it was social because, like Ryan, we've seen so much Survivor that we know a lot of it is social games. So I wanted to think about mentally what to do. I watched a few of the old seasons on the website, but that was honestly really about all. I would recommend, definitely trying to survive without food and do physical activities. That's a huge thing, and sleeping on the ground. That really is not fun. So, but other than that, really, I just think as long as you're mentally prepared for it, that's all you can do, I think. So.
Yeah, I always say if 40 days can do 39 days, you can do 4.
Yeah, I didn't think much about it either. It was because it was 4 days, but I was so nervous and excited I forgot to eat that whole day. And if you know me and see me, you know that I don't miss too many meals. So I got off the airplane and had to ask Tim, my driver, and Dwayne was with me. We were in the same plane. I said, Joe, we got time to stop or someplace we need to eat. He said, no, you better grab something while you're in the airport and let's go. So I grabbed a bagel. And that was all I had till our reward late at night on the first night. So I would definitely recommend eating.
Yeah, I had a huge lunch that day before. We started about 3 o'clock, at least that's when my check-in time was. I had like a really big lunch at like 2 p.m., and really that kind of got me through with the entire night. The morning I started to feel a little bit hungry, but you're kind of running through challenges all day where you kind of forget that you're hungry, honestly, when you're doing those. It's towards the end of the day when you are done with those where you're really craving food. And luckily by then, hopefully you guys have won some rewards, so it's not – you get something in your stomach by then after 24 hours. But the first 24 can be rough if you don't go in with a full stomach.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. I had a salad at like 11 a.m., and that was it. So I should have eaten a little more. But
yeah, I kind of carb loaded, so I was good to go.
Yeah. So I don't know what your expectations were. I don't know if you really knew what to expect. So at what point, whether it was the first night or the second day, did it hit you? Wow. And then what was it about it that really hit you that was different than your expectations? Or did it meet your expectations?
I think personally...
Either one of you.
Okay. I think personally, the sleeping on the ground that first night is when it really hit me. It really sucked. It really did. Sleeping on it hurt. It was just kind of painful. And then when I started to get really hungry, I was like, wow, it's like, this is real. This is like Survivor. And so I think that's when it really did start to hit me. So.
Yeah, the first like the whole experience goes, but it hit me as soon as John said, like, run to your boats. I mean, it was kind of just, you felt like it was on at that moment. But yeah, as far as like physically, you kind of realize this is legit. I would say, yeah, I agree with the sleeping thing. When you kind of go to bed thinking, it's, it'll be kind of cold, but we're on the ground, we got blankets, we'll be good. But it was uncomfortable, it was cold. I think it got into the 40s, I believe. So it was pretty rough. I think that was the realization. We're like, wow, this kind of sucks. But it's all part of the experience. So you deal with it, you move on, and it's all fun looking back. So I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Let me ask you this question, just to back up a second, because we got a question in our chat room. Any recommendations to make your application videos stand out? Because y'all were the first year that had to do videos, and I was not in casting. That was Andy and Mike and John. And I remember Mike saying specifically to Amanda that your video popped. So what do you recommend off of your video experience? Yeah, he liked maybe it was your Survivor video, I'm not sure. But what do you guys recommend putting on the video to make sure your application gets seen and possibly let in?
I think just being yourself, but be energetic, because if you just get in front of the camera and just talk, I don't know. I think that just kind of being you and having high energy, telling about your life, bringing yourself, I don't know. I just think really telling a story, being able to be a good storyteller, make people want to listen to you, but it has to be valid stuff that's actually happened, So I just think being high energy, I think that helps. So.
Yeah, I agree. I would just say be yourself. I honestly just sent like a 1-minute video of me doing what I'm doing right now, just kind of talking a bit about myself, about how I would play the game. Yes, I wasn't I didn't really do anything as far as like me recording myself running around doing a bunch of athletic stuff. That's really not like me at my core. I would just say just be yourself. If that is you, it's great, go do that. But if it's not, then I would just kind of say sell yourself as someone they want to watch. I told them in my video that if they picked me, I was going to win, and I did. So, maybe kind of have a little bit of, confidence in yourself too, to kind of show them that, you're going to go and you're going to go play for 4 days and you can play really hard.
I think that's the key. Don't pretend to be something that you're not. Show them who you really, truly are. And you and I were talking a while back about suggestion I got from Cass about how to make your video for Survivor, and she said, be the character they want. Be who they want you to be, and be prepared to play that character in the game. Don't make them wonder who you are or what you're going to be like. Show yourself. Show what you can do. If you're a know-it-all, tell them everything you know, and show them how smart you are. Show them your friend list on Facebook. I don't know, but just show them who you are, and don't try to hide anything. But go all out and let them know who you are, and don't fake anything. Because if you try to be something and not play that way, you're going to be a disappointment. So just be yourself and go from there. So. I didn't know anything how the season was going to go. I kind of enjoyed that. I got to do the little vaccine stage stuff that I did, but I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't even know about the canoes. So I was hoping you guys would have to run a barge like we did. But you guys got to do the canoes, and I loved how they did it. So one of y'all go ahead and take the reins and tell us what happened. And actually, let's go Ryan first because Amanda was in the last group, right? You and Jeremiah were in the last group to take off. So Ryan, why don't you go first? Were you in the first group or the second group?
First, I believe. I was ahead of Amanda and her group. So I think there was one other group that was like kind of way off waiting for all of us as far as I think the people who were told to go and start rowing like crazy. I think I was the first. I could be wrong. So basically we were there. We started the game with two pairs we rowed in with. I was with Samantha. There's another pair, Maria and Ariel. And the final one was Laura and John. And we basically were just told there's boats up ahead, run to those, there's a note inside, and just start paddling. The note will tell you where to go. So we did. Laura and John kind of got ahead of us, but so we kind of just followed them essentially from that point because we knew they were probably going to get to the marker first. And once we got to the marker, we got out and we each got to grab an item to take back to camp or our would-be camp later that day. So we got like the guitar, some fire-making materials, and then maybe a pot. So once we got those, we got back in our boats and just were basically we were told just to wait for further instructions or kind of something else to happen. And then maybe about 5-10 minutes later, we see these 3 other boats coming up, and that was Amanda's group, and they kind of took over from there. We kept going, so we kind of let her go as far as like how she started, how she met up with us.
Yeah, so we basically, it was Jeremiah and we got in a car, and we were just kind of dropped off in the middle of the woods, and then all of a sudden another car came up, and it happened to be Dan and Alex. They came up, and then one more couple came up. It was Corey and Wendy, and we all kind of started talking, mingling. I kind of thought we were going to be a group, so I was kind of, make friends with them, socialize a little bit, and then John was like, you guys came in pairs, and then we're like, pairs are teams, and we just kind of stared at each other like, oh my gosh, we're not actually on a team. And so then he explained basically what we were going to do. We were going to run to the canoes, and so as soon as he said go, we went, we sprinted. Jeremiah and I hopped in the canoe, and Dan and Alex were right on us. They were right on us the whole time. And then we pulled up to the other group of canoes where we had to pick which canoe we wanted, which would be then our teammates. And Sawa ended up getting there first, so they picked Ariel and his partner, and then we ended up picking John and Laura. Jeremiah kind of swerved, and we went over that way to pick them. I still don't know exactly the valid reason for that, but I don't know. So that was just the group we ended up picking, and then we went off to pick up the next group of canoes. So
yeah. So there's someone. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, was there something in y'all's canoes that y'all had to choose a certain canoe before you even took off?
Yes, there was either a flint was in one. We picked the one with the flint. There was a pot with something in it, and some other item. But we picked whichever one we thought we would like to have the most.
Was there anything in your canoes, Ryan?
No, as far as an item goes, no. We just had the note, and then like that's where we kind of got at our first marker destination. That's where the item was, where we would be going into the shoes. There's nothing in the actual canoe for us.
Okay, I got you. That makes more sense because then each group had to pick something at some point. So even the last group had to pick an item. Because I remember you guys stopping and looking at the canoes real quick. Because I think Jeremiah, you got there, and Amanda got there first. And y'all glanced real quick, and then Dan was right behind you to make it. And then Corey and I think Wendy got there after that. So, but that was really interesting. I give these guys a lot of credit for being so sneaky and devious because they gave you guys a group of 6 in the woods with John. No T-shirts, no flags. No
so you're thinking like this is my tribe. So like Amanda said, you kind of start mingling and kind of sizing people up. Maybe potentially seeing who might be able to be working with sooner or later. But then it's kind of like, nope, they're just kidding. You're not a tribe.
You can never trust those guys. Go ahead.
Hey, David. Last year, the first reward for like being the first canoe there was kind of an afterthought, and they forgot about it, and so they had like a couple of drinks and some cookies. Was the was there a first reward for like a group that made it somewhere first, and was the reward good?
I would say the reward is good. I think basically once all 3 assembled teams at that point got to like the final destination, there wasn't a reward immediately, but that's when we met up with there was 6 survivors that were playing, and they themselves had been paired up too. So it was Matt and Nina, Jason and Kelly, and then Twyla and Spencer. So I believe the first team that got there got to choose who they wanted to join their tribe first, and the second tribe and the third tribe got basically whoever was left. So I guess essentially the reward was picking which survivors were going to come join your team.
Good.
Yeah.
So they improved.
I say they were good rewards, yeah.
So
They improved on their rewards.
Well, last year, we also found out when I talked to Dr. Jill that the survivors somehow went past the reward spot before the newbies got there, and they're like, oh, that's the reward for the players when they come off the barges. And Dr. Jill told me that they actually snagged some of our reward and took it with them. So, hey, the game's always on. You take it until they tell you can't, and you go from there.
More power to you.
There you go. So, getting to the island where the survivors were, the first team there was who, Amanda?
Was it you guys?
The first team to finish?
No, the first team to get to the island where the survivors were.
Technically, Ahaso got there first.
There you
but
go.
We were so clueless on what to do. We just all we're like dorks and touched the tree, and then we're all like, well, okay, nothing's happening. So then we finally realized that we needed to start running and doing something else. And so Sawa started running ahead, but they forgot their flag. So then I thought we were gonna win. We got there, but we had to be at the other end. It was kind of confusing. So Sawa came back, and they ended up getting to the end, huddled together, and then they won the award. And then Opa came in an hour later.
We almost drowned actually out there. We were taking our sweet time. I think at that point we kind of knew we were out of it. We were still trying to get there, but we're taking the scenic route. That's what we were doing.
This season we had a dedicated film crew of Caleb and William and Elijah, and they got, from what I can tell, they got everything. And I'm sure they got that because Ariel tells a great story of how they got there and they went to the right flag, but they didn't have their tribe flag. So he went back and got it and ran back as quick as he could because they finished the note. They read these notes are important. I'm sure it's easy to say that now because everybody misses up on notes, but the note said, everybody touched the red flag, the second red flag, all together with your tribe flag. So green won. They got to pick first. Now, if Opa had won, Ryan, who would have been your pick as the survivor pickers?
Well, I got extremely lucky. I would have chosen Twyla and Spencer, and we got them just by default. So that was really lucky for me. I got my first pick by default. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of sounded like listening to some of the professionals. It was the same thing for Ahasa.
Yeah, I think so. I honestly didn't really care what group we wanted because my goal from the get-go was to get the survivors out. So I really didn't care who it was. That's what I wanted. So we ended up picking Matt and Nina, and I was like, all right, cool. Whatever. So
your survivors were named Boot 1 and Boot 2. That was your choice. No matter who they were just going to be the first boot and the second boot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. That's what I wanted at least, yes. So.
All right, so then from there, what are you guys thinking at this point? So you're merged with your survivors. You got your survivors, and then they take you on this, what felt like a 10-mile walk. We got a similar walk last year. It felt like it took forever. And I even knew where we were going, and it still felt like a long walk. But so then they bring you up in the stump corral with the drums and the crowd, and how did that feel?
It was pretty surreal. I mean, you kind of walk in there, and you hear the drum beatings, and the crowd's right there. You kind of just like, this kind of feels like you're in the real thing. And minus this, studio audience there, but your heart's racing. You're kind of like, what's going on next? I mean, it felt very real at that point, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's going to be people listening, like I said, that are playing next year. So did you do anything from where you picked the survivors? You had about a 40-minute walk, it seemed like, to get to Stump Corral. Was there any strategy in your conversation along that path?
Yeah, one thing I will say is for people who play next year, always be aware that the game is going on. Mm-hmm. Besides the fact that every opportunity you have to talk to somebody, do it. I mean, even if it's between challenges, during challenges, you kind of have a limited time within those 4 days to be playing, so you really have to take about every second you can to play the game. So yeah, that entire walk there, I was kind of at the front talking to Samantha, who I rode in with, so we were kind of already locking things down. Then I was kind of mainly a little bit with Spencer. I think Twyla's behind him, so it's kind of, you're kind of just having conversations just to kind of get to know people, but also to kind of size them up and honestly kind of put yourself out there too to make them feel more comfortable and talkative with you as well. So yeah, I think from the very second we started, I was playing the game, the social game.
Who did you talk to, Amanda?
From the beginning, so Jeremiah and I immediately clicked when we were in that canoe. We were just like, us two, done. So we knew right away it was going to be us two. And then basically John kind of came up to me saying like, let's form a thing with Laura. So then it was like us 4, but then Keith kind of came up to us too and was like, let's form a thing. So there was like all these kind of random things going on. And I personally wanted to stick with John. I wanted it to be John, Laura, Jeremiah, and I. But obviously after the first Hasso vote, that did not turn out that way. But yeah, it was just everybody was kind of talking a little bit, but I think it was just really subtle talk. I think going straight into talking a lot is really puts a target on your back. So I think it was just kind of small talk with a little bit of connections. But
yeah, I really wasn't thinking alliances at that point. I mean, like Sam and I kind of in our boat kind of just said, hey, you and me, we're good. But yeah, beyond really that, I think that I was just kind of making just connections with everybody, kind of, again, just making, starting to build the bridges there. So whenever we got back to camp and really started to be able to play the game a lot more intensely, they'd all kind of know me, and I'd be able to kind of work my way in faster that way. So yeah, just little chit chat, mostly, not really alliance talk, but that was kind of more leading to that for later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I apologize. Mr. Jason is texting me right now. I think he forgot, or something else is going on. So, Dwayne, do you have the address to invite him?
Yeah, probably. I'll work on that.
All right.
I knew I was good for something.
Yeah, I figured you would be. So I had a great question too. Oh, I was going to ask. So from what I gathered, the Jeremiah, Amanda, John, Laura connection actually started in the canoes, right? Did it start when y'all first met?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we talked about how the game was like 60% social, 10% physical, and 30% luck. So the luck because the picks for when y'all went in the first group of 6, second group of 6, third was like a draw. It had a lot to do with luck. So if Keith and Julie had been in the second canoe, they could have been in the foursomes with you and Jeremiah. I mean, it could have been a whole different game. So it's got a lot to do with luck and who you're picking and all this kind of stuff. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Oh, I was just saying, three of the first was Arl in it, and I got there first. So we kind of swerved out of the way, and then I think Jeremiah kind of had like this connection, like Laura. He thought, Laura would be a good pick, so we actually like swerved around and then picked them up and kept going. But it's just crazy because I honestly wanted to go for Ryan's canoe personally, and because I wanted Ryan, I was like, Ryan looks good, so I want to go with him. But then I just kind of listened to Jeremiah again because I didn't want to like start any conflicts or anything. So I was just like, I'm just gonna listen to what Jeremiah wants. We'll just go carry on. So that was kind of my philosophy, but it could have been anyone, so it's crazy how that works out.
This is what I love about Survivor. You've got that half a second to make that decision, and it could change your whole weekend. Yeah. Like you said, if you get Ryan, Ryan's a Hasso, and it could be completely different after that.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, can I go back to something that Amanda and Ryan both said? Ryan had people with whom he wanted to play, previous players, whereas Amanda's outset was, I don't care who I'm with because my goal is to get them off. I'm kind of curious because those are two completely different approaches to the game dealing with these returning players. So I'm really interested in why, Amanda, your thought was I want to get rid of them as quickly as possible, and Ryan, why yours was I want to work with Spencer and whoever else it was that you wanted to work with. So Amanda, why don't you go first? Oh, okay, Ryan, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, I tried to interrupt. It really wasn't for me so much like I want to work with Spencer and Twyla specifically. Just kind of the pairs, I wanted them on our tribe more. It kind of only became, into the night there where I kind of thought that I was really clicking with Spencer and Twyla. So it kind of became, for me, it just seemed I was looking at them as just people. People I wanted to work with. So I really wasn't thinking them as survivors versus non-survivors at that point. I just kind of felt throughout the first night there, I felt myself kind of gravitating more toward them just on like a personal level, really. So I didn't really want to exclude them just because of who they were. To be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of Spencer on the show, to be honest. I told him that too later in the day. But so it really wasn't so much that. It was just kind of, getting to know them. And once I got to know them really well, we just clicked. So it just kind of worked out that I wanted to continue working with them versus, I think that was kind of the OPA vibe too. There was really no one on our tribe. I think Sam mentioned to me the first day, or pretty quickly after we'd gotten Spencer and Twyla, she was already thinking, they'd be early targets. And it's easy to point them out. Is that just because, just to get a name out there that's not your own? But once I kind of got to know them, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather kind of go with them, even though, they're the survivors or whatever. I really didn't care about who was who at that point.
Okay. Amanda?
Well, again, I just think that the survivors, they have so much experience. They know how to play this game. They know how it works. They're gonna get in there and kind of like schmooze you, manipulate you, and just kind of, I just didn't want to have to deal with that. I just wanted them out, and then I wanted to play a game with all newbies. Like, that's kind of what I wanted.
Okay.
And I knew, I actually didn't want Spencer. Spencer's actually a really nice guy.
Oh, yeah. Just full disclosure, he's awesome. But
he's awesome. But
it's great getting to know after the show, but yeah.
Yeah, but from watching Kagian and Second Chance, like just watching his gameplay, I was like, he is going to just totally manipulate everybody. And I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I just, and I knew the thing was that, and it ended up happening, so I just wanted to get them out. And then it happened. They got in there and talked to our teammates, and somehow they decided to kind of win them over, and that's why John went home the first one. But me, Jeremiah, and John were all on the outside. We were like, what? And then that's when I was freaking out. So,
okay.
They.
See, I guess because my initial thought would be that as long as they weren't all on a team like they were last season, because when they were all on a team last season, well, then they dominate, right? Mm-hmm. But if they divided them up evenly, then I would think that they would be an asset. But I can understand both.
I think that when I spent some time with Matt and Jason, and I kind of got the vibe from at least them that they were thinking about when we merged to be paired up and maybe get the survivors going. I know for a fact Jason thought the only way Survivor's going to win is if the entire final three is made up of survivors. So I think that was his plan. I guess if he was here, he could confirm that. But as far as Spencer and Twyla go, I felt like after talking to them, they kind of seemed like they weren't really for that. And I felt that they were genuine and not wanting to go the just survivors to the end thing. I think they kind of really liked the group that we were with, and maybe we even kind of pulled them from that. I don't know. But yeah, I kind of felt that they weren't for that, while as maybe the other four, maybe a couple of them, maybe were thinking the survivors need to go to the end together.
Well, that kind of brings me to, I guess, my last question before I, kind of back out just a little bit more again. Last season, the survivors, once they got into the game, they were in it to win it. Their mindset was, we're going to win this thing. Were the survivors this year, were they the same way? Did they play it to win it, or was it more of a, we're kind of the celebrity here?
Why don't we let the survivor answer that question that he finally showed up and woke up from his nap?
Don't give me a computer.
Jason. Go, Jason.
How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. So my question was, were y'all in it? As you think about the other survivors, last year they were in it to win it. They were fighting hard, and they were trying to win, right, for the 90% of the time. Were y'all in to win it, or were you there to kind of have fun, and at the end you were going to let one of the newbies win?
Oh, no. I was 100% in it to win it. You know me.
Of course you were. Yeah.
I had to try and beat these people and give it my all and go all out. I walked in, and there's a target on my back, and so did Kelly, Twyla, Spencer, Nina, Matt. We knew, and we tried to game plan in the beginning. Let's stay strong. Obviously, that never works out. It's a game of Survivor when you think about it.
Yeah.
But we were definitely trying to win it. I wasn't playing no mercy on these people.
See, I think that if I was playing, I would want the survivors that I was playing with to be wanting to win, because otherwise it's not really the game. So I'm really glad to hear that y'all were like, yeah, I'm going to knock you over going for the idol, Jason. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just and get that idol. So way to go.
So all right, David. We're at Stump Corral, but let me go back for a minute since Jason's here. What were you thinking when you walked up and you took your long walk with Kelly, and then did you see Matt and Nina after that, and then Spencer and Twyla? So what were you guys thinking when the six of you were together?
It was just with Kelly. It was feel us out, see where her head's at, and see if she wants to team up survivors together versus the newbies, or if she was trying to run her own game. And quickly we realized we were on the same path and we both wanted to work together. and try and run a Survivor block in a sense. You know, Matt and Nina showed up, and it was instant. Matt and I clicked right off the rip. And I mean, Ryan saw that when he saw us together again later in the game. So we worked well. We knew, like, hey, we want this relationship to go on and continue in the game. And Nina was instantly, yes, I want to do this. Let's stay 4 strong. We wanted all 6 to work together, but we were worried about the Twyla Spencer side of it. Spencer was kind of in his own world of it, and we were very hesitant to work with him, seeing his history in playing the game. He likes to do his own thing and do game suicide on himself. So,
which I took full advantage of.
No one's talking. I'll talk some more.
What happened?
Okay.
David.
I can't tell sometimes because it goes stop and I don't hear anything. Sorry, the chat room's talking and it distracts me. So how did you feel about being first picked? Have you ever been first picked in the playground, or usually the last one?
Look at me, I'm always first pick.
I think I knew the answer to that question.
Yeah, I kind of saw it coming.
Do I need to play your intro again, Jason?
That I wasn't. He didn't get to pick me first, but I forgive him.
See, this brings me to a point that y'all were getting close to a minute ago. When Jason got here, that this is another great thing about the Durham Warriors Challenge is that you can't let the game come to you. You can't just flow through the game. You got to make quick decisions. You know, Amanda and Jeremiah had to make a quick decision to join John or not. And then all of a sudden, you guys are thrown right into the mix of picking survivors. Last year it was a little bit different. Next year it's probably going to be different. So you can't count on the videos being factual or helpful for next year. But you guys had to pick 2. And as soon as you pick these 2, you're on your tribe. And then you have to make another decision. Do I work with them? Do I try to split them up? Do I try to use them to take out another threat? Or do you go like Amanda's route and say they're gone? They're boot 1, they're boot 2. I mean, you've got to make – this is great about Survivor. You've got to make these decisions. And you got about 60 minutes to make it, or even less, before you're on the outside of a conversation and someone else is making these decisions for you, and then you're the first boot when it comes around. I was listening to some confessionals because they're putting them together for this season, and I think it was Donna that said, you know, she didn't want to play too hard, but at the same time, this game's going to go by so fast, you don't want to be left out. You've got to make actions.
This is hard in a big sense of it does. It's 3 days. You know, every time you turn around, you're eliminating somebody else. New strategies being formed. You don't have the 3 days in between each elimination to where do I want to go, sit down, think for myself, feel everybody out, start making different alliances, see where my alliance is. This one, you don't have it. It's so fast that you got to make these quick gut decisions right off the rip and hope they stick. And some people were really good at it, others weren't.
All right, so on that long walk, right after you got picked to Sawa, and before you got to Stump Corral in that first challenge, who approached you? Do you remember if anybody came up to you, tried to talk to you? Was it just social? Hi, I enjoyed your season, or did they start talking game to you?
No, right off it was more social. It wasn't really in the beginning for us. It wasn't, I guess, let's right now form an alliance. The alliance sort of just happened. And it was just on relationships of who could joke around and have a good time with. But like for us, you know, Kelly and I were very clearly together. And we had kind of said to each other, let's go dominant style. Let's stick hard together and just take the tribe over. And as long as we can get numbers on it, we're okay and we can do that. And Dan got along with us really well, and he seemed to be joking around with us and enjoying our company, and we enjoyed his, so it was a natural fit. The same with Donna. And Kurt just fell into the mold of, like, we loved having this guy around all the time. And we knew, hey, no matter what, we got to have him with us. So right there, you're like, okay, well, we got the numbers. It's fine. 2 people were on the outs. 1 person was kind of back and forth, which was Maria, and then she got real close to us, and then she did the good old-fashioned Survivor move and flip sides, which, you know, good for her. It helps you. Yeah? So at first it was more, let's make a click off of just social alliance. Who can get together and who can you stand to be with? That will build the trust factor for us.
Yeah, I love the different styles that were being played between the survivors and the fans as well. So when y'all got into Stump Corral, before you saw the boxes with the colors. Did y'all think anything was coming? Did you think you were just going to be saying hi to the crowd and taking off? What were y'all thinking getting into stuff for out?
Yeah, I thought we were pretty much just going to be like, get our supplies and, wait for the crowd and move out, but we were a little sorely mistaken there.
So tell us what happened.
Yeah, so basically we got our little box of supplies, which I think really only just had, like, bug spray, stuff like that to kind of get through the night. Maybe, there was a bag of rice, but I think there was maybe like 2 grains of rice in there, and so that really wasn't helpful at all. So then once we kind of opened that box, put it to the side, we were told that we were going to be playing our first or next challenge, or however we kind of want to look at it, but it ended up being this little standing puzzle that we had to do for a reward, which is going to be choosing which camp you got. And there were certain advantages, disadvantages at each camp. So the winning tribe would again get to pick their camp, second tribe gets to pick their camp, and third tribe gets left with whatever's left. So there's a challenge here when we were told we can have as many or as little people do the challenge as we wanted. So my tribe, we originally thought, I said I was good at puzzles, so I would do the puzzle. And I think Sam and Spencer also were going to do that. But once they told us to go, we all just bum rushed the thing, and you had 8 people trying to put together this puzzle. And for us, it was just kind of a disaster. We came in last place, but so pretty much we came in last place, both in the rowing and the puzzle. So for the Opa tribe, we were not looking too hot.
Yeah, you guys were pretty much typecasted after the first night.
Yeah, I think everybody pretty much thought like they are going to be like the Luzon or just the tribe that just loses and loses and loses. So we which kind of answers that we kind of wanted to go in the next day and then prove that we didn't suck as much as we did that first day. But nobody really thought that we were going to be like the dominant tribe for sure.
How was that challenge for you guys, Amanda?
I think it went well. Everybody worked great as a team. I personally just kind of sat back and was like, you guys can do your thing, because again, I know it's such a social game that I don't want to be that annoying person, that person that's taking charge and everybody hates. No, I don't want to be that.
Liar!
No, so
right off the rip as a physical force.
No, so I just was like, meh, and I just kind of let everybody do it, but I still tried to help and stuff, but everybody worked really well. Nobody was like yelling at each other, so that was good, and we ended up getting second, so that was nice.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with her. You don't want to be like the person to, be that annoying person, but I was holding back a lot, not to just say, everybody back up and like let me do this puzzle.
Yeah,
I think with 8 people doing it, I honestly think that if there were just 1 or 2 of us doing it, we probably could have done really well. But we had just all these hands going in. I was kind of going like this in my head, but I knew I didn't want to like snap and be, the guy who was trying to micromanage everything from the start.
Like Jason did, because I think Jason went up and did that puzzle by himself, right, Jason?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's the better strategy.
There was too many hands on it. Dan was helping me out with it, flipping them over and kind of putting them where they needed to go. He was working on one side, I was working on the other in a sense.
See, this is kind of neat because we didn't see this in Co Wrong. We didn't see Jason's puzzle prowess.
No, I kept it low key. I saved that one because I used it always to let somebody else dig their own grave. Puzzles, someone can dig a grave fast.
Absolutely. So now he was more about the physical stuff and the trash talk. So that was good.
I'm still about the trash talk.
Yeah.
By the way, Donna says this is why she picked y'all, because I don't know if you can see the picture. Can you see the picture?
That's when I signed her butt.
Yeah, you signed her butt. Yeah. She said that's why she picked you.
We know where I'm going.
Oh, wait.
So
it's like, why is your hand on my butt? Oh, I'm sorry. I just need to flatten out your dress.
So anyway, we get back to you're at the camps that night. Yeah, just put your cartoon up. So you're back at the camps that night, and how much? I think I kind of know what went on, but it's funny because listening to Jason talking about keeping it happy, keeping it upbeat, and then I think about a Hasso. And I don't remember being happy and upbeat at a Hasso. What was it like the first night, Amanda, back at a Hasso?
It was kind of like chill. Just everybody, I think we were just kind of like didn't know what exactly to do, and I think everybody was a little afraid to actually start doing something. So we just kind of were sitting around, getting to know each other. I wanted to look for a new medal, but I didn't want to put a target on my back, so I was just kind of sitting there. And yeah, I think our tribe in general was just kind of a chill tribe. Like there wasn't anybody that was really annoying or anything. So we kind of got along with everybody, and we all clicked. And so kind of from that point, it was going to be hard to vote somebody out. Like I didn't even know who we were going to target because everybody was just so relaxed and stuff. But I just definitely think that's kind of our tribe. We were just kind of chill. But Matt definitely kept it lively. He told a lot of stories. We love talking to the survivors about their shows. You know, Nina told us a lot about her season and Matt as well. But yeah, other than that, we just kind of had a chill night, tried to stay warm and enjoy ourselves. So.
Yeah, that's funny because it was two totally different survivors because Matt and Nina are very sociable people, extremely likable people. Love talking to them both. They're great on professionals. And it's funny how they played into your tribe. They just kind of let the flow go. You know, anything comes up about Survivor, we'll talk, we'll laugh, we'll go from there. And it's funny because all three tribes finished in the same order for both those challenges Thursday night. You know, you guys were second, but challenge, so that's kind of a good feeling. We finished second. We could have been first in the canoes, but we finished second in the puzzle. We're good. We're not the worst tribe. So then when you go over to the worst tribes camp, so what was it like, Ryan, at the worst tribes camp on Thursday night?
We were embracing the suck over at OPA. No, I mean we were you know a little bit disappointed that we kind of sucked in the game, but we kind of got back on our feet, and you know we knew that the next day we'd probably have some better luck, hopefully. But I would say overall we were pretty laid back. But I mean I was talking to everybody. I was already I wasn't so much like making deals with everybody, but we went off. I think pretty quickly. I think I went off with Spencer and Wendy. And, we kind of just talked about Survivor a little bit, just, to kind of ice break a little bit. But then after a couple minutes, we pretty much got into, thinking, hey, it's be a great group of three. And then all of a sudden, Corey and Twyla come over, walking over, and like, hey, it's be a great group of five. So I'd say within like an hour, we had already kind of established us as like a 5 core. So the other three back at camp had kind of just already fallen out by default. And there was kind of one person who we all were looking at as just like, we got to get rid of this guy. It kind of just, I don't even really know why. It was Derek. He just kind of, I wouldn't even say rubbed people the wrong way. I mean, I guess that might be the kind of the word or phrase to use, but there's just something about him. We just didn't trust him. I mean, we just didn't think that he would be a guy that would stick with us and be, and he was strong, but strong only goes so far on Survivor. So I think we kind of, and by the time I went to bed the first night, I think I had a pretty good hierarchy of who was in the bottom, who was on the top, and I was toward the top, so I felt pretty good about where I was. But yeah, in the first night we were mostly just campfire talk, but there were definitely, before it got dark, there were definitely people going off. At least I was, to kind of get a feel, because you knew that the next day would be so intense. You kind of wanted something in order before the game got going. What
about you, Jason? Did y'all have a strategy to not let anybody get away, or keep everybody together, or just keep it upbeat? What were y'all doing?
Kelly and I, everybody went for water, and Kelly and I originally stayed back, and we kind of talked to ourselves. That first one, we started looking for idols right off the rip. But we had kind of made the decision together at that point of rest of the night, nobody goes off by themselves. We just kind of made sure that one of us was with whoever walked off so we could share information. And we really prevented the best we could to just everyone stay together, everybody work together, and don't give people the chance to try and build an outside alliance that we're not part of.
Yeah. So
we kind of did the opposite of what Ryan's group did and prevented it.
This is to let y'all know, Amanda, her phone died. She's charging it right now, so she's getting ready to get back on. Okay. I love hearing how all three camps are playing different. It's so cool about Survivor that there were different strategies going on at every location. People were doing this, working with the survivors in different ways and things of that nature. Was there any pep talk, Brian, at your camp to try and pick y'all up for the next day? Because y'all
Dr. Jill came by and I think tried to give us a pep talk, but she kind of just basically told us hey, you guys kind of suck. Get your together. So I think that was in a way an ironic pep talk. We're kind of we're going to go prove her wrong tomorrow and prove everybody wrong that we're not the worst tries. So we were having a good time. Like I said, we weren't really too beat up over not rowing the best or not doing the best at that puzzle. But we knew overall we felt good about our tribe. We had different strengths we'd be able to utilize. So we were down, but we weren't really too worried, to be honest. And we thought we were going to have a good shot of winning some the next day.
And it's the first night. You have a camp. You had a fire. You got an alliance. I mean, it can't be. It could be worse. So,
Yeah. I mean, we could have not had fire. We could have not had anything to sleep on. No blankets. I mean, it was. We got like the worst camp, but really, I don't really know how much. I mean, you're still in the woods. I don't really know how much better like the better camps were. Maybe they had more space, or I don't know. I mean, our camp was really small, but really besides that, it really wasn't like ungodly awful.
Yeah, we're walking through the woods. Mike and Andy know the camps from the previous seasons. I can't tell them apart. They're just in 3 different locations, so I don't know what they call them, but they know each one of them. So
when we merged, I'm like, this camp is bigger than Opa's was, but that was really like there wasn't like any surprise or hidden food there. I mean, it's pretty much just like there's more dirt, more wood.
How much sleep did y'all get that one night?
Maybe 1 hour. It was pretty bad. I feel like my eyes were closed for a good couple hours, but it just got so cold. People moving around the tarp. We made the mistake of moving our tarp away from the fire, thinking it wouldn't get that cold, so the tarp and our blankets would be warm enough for us. But it got so freezing cold that we ended up all. I mean, I got, like I said, maybe an hour of sleep. I was in bed for maybe 2 or 3 hours. I mean, you have no sense of time, so it's kind of who knows. But I didn't get very much at all. It was pretty bad.
Hey Ryan, Derek is in the chat room, and he wants to know how Opa got fire.
How Opa got fire? Actually, just like rubbing our hands together really fast. No. We tried the flint and steel, which we all apparently knew how to do. Which I mean, so I think it was like Spencer, Wendy, Twyla, and myself were kind of trying it, getting some sparks going. Got a lot of smoke, just no flame. And then we were at the corral that we had come from. That's where our water source was, where we go get water. And Derek goes like, hey, they had a fire back there. Why don't we go see what's there? So we're like, I mean, go for it, dude. We'll be here just trying to, do flint and steel. So he grabs a stick and just kind of goes back to where we were. I mean, it's they put the fire out, but I guess the embers were still hot. So he just kind of swooped up and
kudos to Derek.
He brought the fire to the camp.
I mean, you may not have trusted him, but kudos to Derek.
That's why I'd say I wouldn't call it cheating. It's just being resourceful. So, but that showed me that he's the sharp guy. So I was right on about being a little cautious around him.
There's that loophole. Do it until they tell you not to.
Exactly. They didn't tell us we couldn't go back and get the fire, so we went back and got the fire.
No, I wouldn't call it cheating at all whatsoever. Mm-mm. Now,
Derek brought us fire.
If you hit a match up in your butt crack or something, that's cheating.
Like bring a lighter. That's probably cheating too, or something like that.
Yeah. Jason's like, hey, you putting no match up my butt crack. By the way, Jason, if I could digress just a little bit while we're waiting on Amanda, the whole time you were gone, well, I guess like the latter part of whenever you were gone, your beautiful wife Denise was on Twitter going, "Okay, get your butt home. You're just having fun in Maine." It was still funny. She was like, "I'm sick of these kids. Get your butt home, Jason. Stop your vacation in Maine." I just thought I'd share how funny that was. Yeah, she was ready for you to be home.
Ow!
Ow! All right, David, I've invited her like 3 times, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not the only one that wears it.
Whoa, Jason, did you bring a lighter?
Show him your shirt.
I like that shirt. That's good. Jason, Derek Meredith asks, didn't Jason bring the lighter? Did you sneak a lighter in?
Of course not. That would be breaking the rules, and I don't do that.
Oh, no! Where did you hide it? If you hypothetically were going to do that.
If I was hypothetically going to, I would probably have one in my sock and then give up my cigarettes and lighter to the babysitters if I was going to. But, of course, I didn't. That would be cheating.
Right. Of course not. But at least we have a hypothetical.
Yeah. If I was going to do it, that's how I would do it. So
now, if you were going to do it that way for CBS, could you have gotten away with that?
No. They darn near strip search you.
All right, sorry, David.
That's okay.
Tried to count how many hair ties I brought with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they make sure you can sneak in nothing.
So, since you were all confident on your first night, Jason, how much sleep did you get?
Say again?
How much sleep did you get the first night since you were confident in taking over the camp?
Like a rock. I slept like a rock. I slept well. Dan slept well. Pretty much, Kelly was the one who was having a hard time sleeping. Kelly and Donna. Kelly brought we were allowed a blanket. Kelly brought basically a chip bag of a space blanket that just crinkled the entire time. And it kept a lot of people awake, and it didn't keep her warm at all. So she ended up getting up with Donna, moving to the fire. I slept good. Kurt slept good. Like, we slept like rocks.
Yeah, last year.
She brought a Better Call Saul blanket.
That's right.
Pretty much. She did.
Last year, my tribe, Katie, had one of those blankets, and she slept on the far side, and we weren't sleeping anyway. But we definitely weren't sleeping every time she rolled and that blanket moved, because I was getting hungry and thinking somebody had brought chips into the game. So
yeah, we like that was kind of like with our tarp. We thought we'd have like the tarp as like a blanket, but it kind of ended up being again like a bag of potato chips. I won't mention Spencer's name, but someone had kind of like restless leg syndrome, where they were kicking around all night long, and until we all decided to get toward the fire. But yeah, it was kind of no one. I don't really know if anyone really slept well on Opa. I mean, Twyla went to bed early, but I don't really know how much she actually was sleeping.
Good thing you didn't mention their name.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't throw people under the bus like that now.
Yeah.
all right, Amanda's ready to get another invite if you want to call her. Yeah, Twyla did not like being woken up for confessionals. That was probably one of the funniest people we got to talk to when it came to confessionals. She couldn't even open her eyes because the light that was on her. That was really good. So
I think they actually had to physically drag her. I think is what I was told.
Oh yeah, kind of. Yeah, we begged her, and then when we told her we were done, she said thank you, and she walked away as quick as possible. We told her to take her back. So Nina wants to point out, actually I think it's Dan on Nina's account, that Denise has to be a saint to deal with Jason. So he just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
Jason, does she wear like earmuffs or earplugs at night?
Oh boy.
She's learned to live. We're a couple months away from 12 years. She's learned to block me out a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, Dan certainly knows what a saintful wife is, because his wife is a huge saint.
Yeah.
To put up with him. I've been there, I know.
All right, she's trying to call me, Dwayne, so you call her.
Okay, I'll do it again.
Yeah, she's hang on me. So let's talk about the challenges on on Friday. These were the reward challenges this year. That was similar to last year. Friday was an all-day reward. Saturday was the challenges that led to immunities. Jason, from a survivor's perspective, what did you think of the challenges on Friday? Or for the whole weekend?
The challenges were good. They were really good. Obviously, they're as close as you can get. In the actual game that CBS is paying for, yes, some of them are way more elaborate, much bigger, but those are, thousands and thousands of dollars to build. For being on a limited budget, it is as intense as they could possibly make it. And the challenges were fun. They were difficult. Like, nothing was just a cakewalk. There was a lot of thinking involved, a lot of strategy involved with each one. Which one thing am I going to go to first? What do I have to build first? What do I have to think of? And a lot of them were multifaceted challenges where, one of the very first ones, build a cart, which was a puzzle in itself to build. Then you have to push it around the entire course, which wasn't easy. There was rules on how you could push it, where at times you have to pick it up and physically turn it. Then once you get all your pieces, there's a puzzle to make on top of that cart. Now when I'm thinking about it, I don't think it was the very first one, because the first one had to do with canoes, didn't it, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking of Immunity Day. That was the first Immunity Challenge.
Yeah, but for example, though, there's many levels to each one, so they were difficult, and it was a lot of fun, and it's just not something you slap together last minute.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't like your little carnival games. I mean, it felt, I haven't been on the show, obviously, but it felt very real and very, professional to me.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, me as a person that's played the big game, and then I'm coming down to play this, you sit there and you're like, you do think originally, it's going to be carnival games, what are we doing, egg tossing it? And it was the furthest thing from that. So much credit is due, and I have to give them for the level of challenges that they had. Very impressed with what they were.
Yeah, Kevin and his crew should get a lot of credit for all that because it's pretty amazing the amount. If you see it in the videos, you'll see the work that went into those things to build them and then cut them apart to make them into puzzles. And then Kathy with her maze challenge, and it's an amazing thing. Was there one that y'all liked the least? Mine was the sandbag challenge. It almost killed me. But otherwise,
like the least.
The least. Was there one that you wish, man, I never want to do that again?
I hated the storytelling one. I didn't get one thing right. I got wooden blocks every single time. It was the very first question. It was like something about a lightning bolt or something. And
I think
what like number it was that striked it or something, and I got the wrong one 2 times in a row, and I was just like, oh my.
I think that was actually Jason's favorite challenge. I think the storytelling one.
Yeah.
So
It ended so well for me, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, it was great. That was a good job.
Things were so fair for me at that point.
So, does anything stick out for y'all Friday before we get to the end? You guys just don't know how excited we were that the challenges went so well. OPA did so much better on Saturday morning. They came back and kicked, and then the numbers and it was y'all were playing for Bob Bucks. We weren't playing for rewards. Last year they played for rewards. If you got first, you got to pick from the top tier. Second, you pick from the second tier. I tried to get a lot of seconds and thirds, but it was this was for money, for Bob Bucks. But something happened at lunchtime. We take the nice long lunch break, and something changed for OPA. What was that, Ryan, that happened to OPA that changed your whole trial?
Well, yeah, we were in the morning. I think we got like second and first and second and first. So we were in the lead going into the last 3 of the day. I mean, we were kind of on a high. I think just kind of what hit us where we were kind of tired from the night before, so we ended up taking like about, I don't know how long we had, maybe an hour, half-hour nap. That nap was not a good idea. I think we almost, when we went back to the challenges the afternoon, we were still kind of waking up from our nap. And even as John was going through the next challenge, we're just kind of listening to him, kind of going like, And then once he was done, we're like, we didn't really even know what he was saying. We were kind of still half asleep. So we just couldn't get it together. I think we were just tired from just resting and, tired from being tired the night before. It just kind of all hit us at that moment where from there we just couldn't pull together. And then, I would say like my least favorite challenge too was the one right after that was the fire one where we had to be bailing the water, throwing the water to fill the bucket to build the fire. Because at one point it really wasn't even so much of the water part wasn't even part of the challenge anymore. Just like getting the fire big enough to burn through this rope, and there was kind of some wind going, so it was shaking forever. And there was a point where I just looked at their tries. We're all like really close to burning the rope, and I was just like, just somebody please win. I want to get out of this challenge. So that one right after lunch there, that was probably the roughest one for me.
Yeah, what was neat was our immunity challenges from Saturday were y'all's reward challenges on Friday. So things just got mixed up. So if you did watch our season, you got to see some of the challenges. But it was neat because even that challenge, when we did it, there was only 2 guys on the buckets, 1 guy on the fire. It was only a 3-person challenge. And you guys had a lot more directions, a lot more swapping, a lot more rotating. And not only that, you guys had idle clues on the bottom of a bucket in each group.
Which we had no idea about. We were just trying to keep our eyes open at that point.
Now, do y'all know who got the clues for those idols from that challenge?
Dan did.
Dan got it for the Sawa try. What about the other? You were trying Dan.
He got it.
To my knowledge, I don't know anyone who got that clue. I could be wrong, but I don't think anyone got it. If they did, they never told anybody, and even to this day, I don't know.
I think for Ahaso it was Keith. I think, but I'm not 100% positive.
Hey, Amanda, make sure your plug is plugged all the way in because you're coming through soft.
Okay.
Like your microphone is not real loud, unless your microphone is way far away from you.
Can you hear me now? Better?
About the same. Dwayne, can you turn her up, or is that just on her end?
Yeah, I could probably do that. Just a second.
There we go.
Right.
Is it a little louder? A little better?
Not quite, but he's going to turn you up a little bit.
Okay. But yeah, I think it might have been Keith, but I'm not 100% positive on that. I was just having fun with that challenge, just kind of throwing water on people.
All right, so this is lunchtime on Friday. Did anybody have an idol at this point that y'all know of?
Not that I know of.
Not that we knew of. I think Keith had his at that point, either that or it was that night at camp. But we had no idea that he had an idol.
Yeah, the Matt Bischoff is in our chat group, and he just confirmed that Keith did get the clue. I do know that Dan, like Jason said, got it off their bucket. So I wonder if anybody got it off the open bucket.
Until later that night.
What's that?
I didn't get my idols until later that night.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. My gosh, he wants to talk about his idols. Okay.
Because I played them this time. I finally learned what to do.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you, Jed? Did it get you further?
Oh, man.
It felt great to play them.
That's good.
So,
It kept getting longer and longer.
so after lunch, Opus Nap really kind of worked in favor of the game. It really benefited the game because there's like 2 or 3 challenges left, and we're sitting over there under the shade, on the picnic table, relaxing in the shade, and we're talking to Dr. Jill and Mike, and we're saying, you know what? The points are kind of close. They're getting back close. And then we get to the last challenge, and then we were saying it's got to be, I think it was red, open, green, or something. It was some particular order. It had to go, and it would be a deadlock. And it happened. It was perfect. The Survivor luck fell. The Survivor gods wanted that, and they made it a dead tie with 1 challenge left. So that was awesome. And what a great tiebreaker. It's not about strength. It's not about knowledge. It's about catching a fish and throwing it to the next person. So Ryan, how was your fish catching and throwing skills looking for?
I think I was the only person to actually drop the fish the entire challenge, and I think that's what screwed us. I think I was the 3rd person in line, so we had to go back. I dropped it, and so then I had to go back to tooth 1 to the start, and then back to me. Then we could keep going on, and within those 4 or 5 tosses to get to where we were when I dropped it, that put us completely out. So yeah, I was kind of the one who dogged that one and kind of blew it for us.
And also, as a nice twist, they threw an extra tribe into this game that included former survivors and former players of the Durham Warriors Challenge, and I think they finished 3rd. So their reward was to take 1 item away from Opa. What did they take? Your tarp?
Yeah, a tarp, which really we didn't like hear about because at that point it wasn't going to rain. The tarp really did jack for us the night before, so we're like, fine, take the tarp. We don't even care.
So, but and then let's see, Ahasa got 2nd. And did you guys get a fish out of that?
Yeah, we got 2 fish actually. We got to cook those.
Did you eat them both that night?
What?
Did you eat them both that night?
We did. It was kind of disgusting, but
Yeah.
it was food, so.
We just got the smell of fish to take back to camp. That's all we got.
I thought that was so nice of the organizers to give you all that on the way out, but y'all got to smell like fish the rest of the night.
That was great.
It was very lovely. Yeah.
Oh, Matt said you wanted to eat the eyeballs, man. Is that true?
Yeah, well, because what happened was, so we got the fish, and then Laura and Nina, all the girls, and Julie, all of us, we all decided, hey, let's eat the fish, or the eyes, and roast them. So we were all in on it, and I started poking them out, and then everybody just kind of slowly bailed. And yeah, we didn't end up doing that, but we got to get the fish eyeballs out, so it was kind of fun.
Did you keep them?
Yeah.
And then Sawa won the challenge straight up because Jason was barking at everybody to make sure they didn't drop the fish. They were probably scared of him. And they won the reward, which I thought was amazing. I hope they do this every year. The reward was a little trip on Bob's boat with crackers and, I guess, cheese and drinks. And
Crackers, cheese, grapes. We were able to barbecue the fish right on the boat as we were going. They brought a ton of beer for us all. And we just kind of floated around, and then when we were done, they sent us with another bucket of beers back to the camp.
Wow. And quality time
nice.
with Bob. Yeah, that's what Kurt said. Quality time with Bob Crowley. So was anything going on the boat? Was it all fun and games? Was there any strategy? Did you notice anything?
It was all fun and games. All fun and games. We were just enjoying it, taking pictures, just having a good time in general. And we were really just everyone. I got everyone to step out of the game again. At this point, I was controlling the game. I'll be cocky as can be. I convinced everyone that morning to eat all our food, and then I was able to convince them to do it all again. Like, come on, stop letting me control us. But they did. So we were all fun and games. No one talked strategy. Everyone knew the boot order already, so we were good.
I like what Dan says. He said it was our boat. We just let Bob drive.
Yeah,
I guess y'all won the boat in the challenge. And Donna likes to say, Sarge always barked at everyone. Hurry up. How much? Pee. You got in you. Get out of the porta potty. So he was the life of the
I
tribe.
set the rule.
So that night, later on, you guys got bothered for confessionals again. I don't know if y'all knew what time it was, but I think we didn't start until probably 9 and got finished at around 1 a.m. And I think the last group that night was Hasso. I think you guys were last because y'all were first the first night and you were last the second night. So
happened there, didn't it?
Well, yeah, you kind of missed a big one there.
You kind of missed a big thing. It's where Ryan and I met.
What's that?
The kidnapping.
I know. We're getting to that.
Okay. Well,
yeah, there was a nice little gap in there. So this was thank you. I was brain seizing. You're right. I was actually forgetting about that, and that was probably my favorite part of the whole weekend for what it did and what it meant and what happened because of it. But so this was right before dark, and gosh, in Maine, I think the sun comes up at 4 or 4:30, and then it dives around 8:30, 9 o'clock. But around that time, around dusk, John shows up at everybody's tribe. What does he do, Amanda? Because you guys were first.
Yeah, so he just comes walking up, and we were kind of a little nervous, like, what is going on? I had no idea what was going on, and he just dropped all of Opa's faces right in front of us, and was like, pick 2. And we're like, what? And so my first thought was like, okay, they're going to join our tribes. It's going to be a swap. So we did not want survivors. So kind of Laura and I were like, we don't want survivors. We do not want them. And to be honest, we kind of wanted people that looked just kind of more laid back, slightly passive. So that's why we kind of were just like, you know what, let's pick Ryan and Samantha. And everybody just slowly kind of agreed with that, except for I don't think Matt wanted that. Matt wanted not those 2. We just kind of overrode that and got those 2. And then, like I said, we thought we were going to get those 2. We thought we were going to gain them. So, but that didn't happen. So they ended up being gone for a lot longer than we thought. And then we started like, what the heck? Because then 2 more people came down. They came and then they asked for Laura and Matt to get taken away. So we were like, okay, that was their picks. And so we thought, again, we were going to now get either the picks we had or Sawa's from what another tribe had picked. So that's what we were thinking was happening. But then as the time started ticking by, we were just confused on like what is happening. And so then we kind of came to the conclusion that they joined a 6-person tribe, and it was 4-4-4-4. So we were like, what the heck? And obviously that's not what happened. But it was
the second camp he went to was Jason's camp. How'd that go at your camp?
You know, it kind of the same situation came, and he laid them all out, and we got excited at first. And I quickly was the first one to step on. I was like, we're taking Matt right off the rip because I wanted to work with him. And then we're looking at the rest of them, and Kelly had mentioned, like, why don't we take someone who's not a Survivor player? Because at first we're like, yes, they're coming to us. And we picked Laura, and right when we made that pick is when it clicked on me. We're losing 2. So right then I knew we just bit ourselves. And we instantly assumed it was Kelly and I. We just went, that's going to be the smart move. That's what they're going to take. And next thing you know, John comes, or one of the handlers comes back and calls me, though Kelly was ready, and they didn't take Kelly.
Yeah, they took Maria.
Yeah. So Maria and I left, and we started walking, and we're wondering, first we're like, okay, well, we picked red. We're probably going to the purple tribe, Opa, and then we passed their camp, the turnoff to their camp. So we were kind of thrown off at that point, and then we got the option, and we're given 2 bags and a note, and it basic rundown of you can take safety and you're guaranteed something. Yep, burlap bags, just like that. Take safety and you're guaranteed something, or you can risk and you have a chance at a lot or nothing. So I turned to Maria and hey, we're taking risk. So we took risk. We kept walking.
Sure. Somehow this bag got left in my possession, so I'm sending it to Laura because this was Laura's bag. I got to send that to her. It was really neat for me before I get to you, Ryan, because I got to go back to Hasso and grab Matt and Laura. So, and the deal was get them walking, get them near this other site, and try to keep them apart. And we got to a point where I thought we needed to stop, and all of a sudden here comes Jason and Maria right behind us. It's, oh, crud. Well, they done figured it out. So how did it go at the Opa camp? Right.
Similar to the other tribes, we got the faces. We're thinking, all right, we're gonna get the two we picked. So we picked Jason just for his strength, and then I didn't want to pick him and Kelly. So I just kind of vouched for, hey, I knew Maria from the first day. We kind of chit chatted, so I liked her. I thought I'd have a connection with her, so I kind of said, hey, why don't we pick Maria? So we did. We picked Jason and Maria, and then pretty much the same thing. As soon as they leave, we're like, we didn't pick people to come to us. We just made a super tribe of 6 essentially. So we were thinking they were going to choose the 6 strongest people, and they were going to be a tribe the next day in Unity. So I was thinking we were going to lose Spencer for sure. And then either probably Wendy or Twyla. And then John came back and says, I need Ryan, I need Samantha. So I'm like, I just kind of froze. I'm like, did I hear that right? Like, I didn't think I'd be picked at all. So I was kind of, I guess just thinking logically, if the other tribes are picking, they probably want people who are stronger. So I would have gone with any of the other guys really. But so I was kind of surprised it was me. And then we walk off, get the bags. We chose Risk just because this is a once in a lifetime thing. Might as well just go for it and go big or go home. So that's what we did. And then we kind of kept walking for about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes until we kind of meet up with the others. And that's when we also realized too at that point that we're not going to another tribe. We're probably forming a new tribe. And then we get there. There's a camp there. So we're like, this is our new tribe, and that's just that's the way it is.
Yeah, this was neat for those that watched the previous seasons, because once again the challenges were reversed, and now this would have set up a reversed immunity day, as in it was 4 tribes for us on reward day and 3 on immunity day, but you guys were at 3 tribes for a reward, and you could have been 4 tribes for immunity day. So I love the deviousness of these guys, but this was probably my favorite night of doing confessionals. Dwayne, if you get a chance, try calling Amanda's laptop. She's going to try and get on her computer.
So I just need to send the invitation again?
Amanda's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, my I don't know what's wrong with my phone. It keeps it's plugged in, but it keeps going up and then down, and I don't know what's going on. But
it's probably Matt and Nina. They're over there sabotaging your phone. So
yeah.
Keep it more to that.
So. But it's got 4% right now, so hopefully that'll last.
Like 5 seconds.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So this was neat because we started with the Kidnap Tribe. That's what they were called. And this was another production side where the only note I had was, need time to film the kidnap. That's all I knew about. I didn't know how it was going to be done. I didn't know where they were going to go. So this was neat for me. And loving that side of Survivor, this was just awesome because I couldn't wait to get back to the other 3 tribes and say, so what do you think's going on? Mike and Andy do their interviews and ask you guys what's happening, what's going on, and we get to get all the different answers. So so at the Kidnap Tribe, which is where we started, what was the mode like there, Ryan? What was the attitude?
Well, originally I was thinking well, crap, I don't like this. I really wanted to go back to Opa because I felt like I was probably a solid top 2, top 3 at Opa. So thinking this is my new tribe and it's going to be my new tribe as we go into votes tomorrow, I was pretty pissed. I was kind of just a little bit just freaked out, and I'm like, I got to start from ground zero again. But you kind of get there. I mean, on the other hand, it's cool to be a part of the twist so far. I mean, it's cool to be part of that, and we were all pretty excited. I mean, as much as probably we're thinking in the back of our minds, we really got to figure out how to work ourselves now. It was cool to kind of meet the other people, kind of spend some time with them. So we were all smiles and pretty excited to be together. So I mean, it was a mixed bag. Like I said, I was personally nervous and I didn't really want to be there, but I was in good company, so it wasn't too bad.
Who?
I think I liked Matt, Maria, Laura, and Sam. They were all good.
Sounds about right.
So I know Jason was happy because he thought he was with his beard buddy.
Yeah. I think he was. He was pretty happy.
Ryan loved it. He loved the bromance.
And that was another good thing then, being tight with Laura, is she was able to kind of come back and she was able to sense the vibe that they were kind of close, and so that definitely. Yeah,
there wasn't so much of a sensing a vibe. It was they're close. That's plain and clear.
Yeah. So yeah.
So
Have you ever been secretive about who I'm in a friendship with?
Yeah, I know. You're kind of easy to read.
I made sure you.
Wow. Ryan is so confident. I love it. I love it.
Well, he's got the bobster, so he can pretty much say what he wants. So, like Jason said, y'all got to make a decision before you got to camp and pick the safe or risk bag. It's a 4-day game. I loved it that everybody picked risk. So when you got to camp, Ryan, what did y'all have to do?
So when we got to camp, there was a total of 4 boxes. There were 3 smaller boxes, each with 1 lock, and then there was 1 kind of larger box with 3 locks. So we opened up the keys, and we realized that if you had picked the safe, you would have gotten your lock to 1 box and opened that box. Basically, if you had chosen risk, and any person or any team had chosen safe, they would get their box, and then you guys would be SOL. But again, we all chose risk, so we all put our keys together and did a little weird chant or whatever. So I think it was Jason who had his hands on the keys, so he opened up the big box, and we find there's a bunch of food, some like granola bars, apples, bananas, and then he reaches a little bit further and he pulls out a hidden immunity idol, full with a note saying this is in fact a hidden immunity idol, valid through I think up to and including the final 5. So we had essentially just took a risk and we got a group idol, which, you know how that goes. It didn't really always stay a group idol. But, so it was, it's kind of cool to wow, now we have an idol, or now Jason has an idol because he touched it first. But, no, we would be using it for the group for sure. Yeah, that was our game plan.
Is that true, Jason? It was a group idol?
It was a group idol.
Yeah.
It was for everyone in the group.
Yeah, if anyone needed it, Jason would have been more than happy to give it and share it away. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
I couldn't wait to get him to confessional. He's laughing the whole walk to confessional, saying, "You want to see my idol? Do you like my idol? Where's the camera? Look at my idol."
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't really even think twice about it when he was grabbing it. But as we kind of walked away, I'm like, wait, who actually grabbed the idol? And I'm like, oh, it's Jason. Perfect.
I don't think Ryan knows. I later found out if the box had the 3 locks on the one side, and then you noticed there was
I did have the other one. Yeah.
Right. If we had picked safe, one of the other boxes underneath the box had a key to the big box, and none of us knew it. But I found out later that what was that lock for? And they said underneath the safe, if someone was smart enough to flip the box over, there would be a key to the big box.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So lesson learned: anytime you're playing Survivor, flip everything over.
Yeah. Nowadays.
Right? I mean, even props, just flip them over. Check the bottom of his shoe.
Yeah. And his hat. Yeah.
That counts at tribal.
By the way, Amanda.
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, Amanda, I sent you another invite if you want to try it on your computer.
Okay.
Just
And,
in case you.
Caleb, who was our Caleb Chamberlain, our lead film guy, reminded me that Jason was so happy he was petting the idol during his confessional. He would treat it like a little pet that he was holding.
That's awkward.
Oh, it was devilish. It was. I know that confession was going to be in there, so it was good.
My precious.
Yeah, well, he enjoyed it while it lasted.
Exactly.
I love his attitude. I tell you what, Ryan, I like that attitude.
You talk about in it to win it. That was Ryan. He had the smile, but he had the knife behind his back, so he was ready to go.
Oh man, and he's got the whole smart aleck, he's smarting off to Jason and all that.
It's amazing that people allowed Ryan to stay in the game.
As Laura put it, I'm a schmoozer, so that's what I did. That's what I did.
And even in a challenge, they asked, who's the most likable? And everyone's like, Ryan. Who deserves to win? Ryan. And everyone's like, who should we never get rid of? And they're like, oh, well, obviously Ryan. What's wrong with y'all?
I'm just that good.
So.
Right. I can't blame you for it.
So look forward to the confessionals for Friday night because they're going to be all over the map because everybody had their thoughts on what had happened. We kind of caught people.
I think I spat about a million ideas of what was going to happen in my own. Yeah, I was thinking I can go this way, I can go this way, I can go that way, I can go that way, and it just kind of was almost therapeutic to kind of verbalize everything that had been bottled up in my head for the past 2 hours. But yeah, there was a lot going on in my mind. I really had no idea, where I should be kind of going at that point.
I'm trying to sleep.
She's trying to sleep. Put some earphones on, Dad. Good grief.
I need to sleep, Father.
That guy with the smile keeps talking and he's keeping me awake. So.
Father, who's the handsome man on the TV screen?
All right, so what happened? How much sleep did you get that night, Ryan? I know Jason snored like a log, so how much did you get?
Again, I think I got more consistent sleep. It was still probably like, if I'm being generous, maybe like 2.5, 3. It got about as cold as it did. We were luckily we were right by the fire, so it was a little bit warmer. But yeah, we got 2 bearded guys snoring and all night long. So I was lucky enough to be right next to Matt and Jason, so I got the full experience of the snoring symphony.
I don't know what you're talking about. I heard none of it.
I believe you. I believe that. I don't think you heard us think.
Did you ever think about tying their beards together and making them face each other and snore at each other?
Oh my gosh!
Don't tie me to Matt.
If I had a pillow, I'd have put it over their face. Yeah.
Hey, Jason, Matt seems to be delusional in the chat room. He says, it did not bother me at all that Jason had the idol in his possession. I trusted that he would use it for us if need be.
I bet he did.
I didn't have to be the guy with the idol.
When have I shown nothing but pure loyalty every time I play Survivor? So anyone who's with me would be foolish to think they can't trust me or that I wouldn't play an idol for you, because I have the rap record of I've never turned on a single person in my alliance, and I've given my idol to others to play. So is the idol for the group? Of course it's for the group, but I will play it if I'm aligned with you. So Matt, clearly he's with me. I'd play it for him. I would have played my idol for Kelly if I had them both on me at the time.
Why did you?
You can't trust me in this game are foolish, because obviously I'm one of the most trustable people in the game because I've never turned. I've been turned on, and I stuck with them anyways when they apologized, but I've never turned.
Yeah. And
Well, Matt Bischoff says, preach it, Jason.
Thanks, buddy.
Go ahead, Amanda.
I was just going to say, I totally agree because, well, when we went to the merge, Sawa didn't even try to talk to us at all. So it was clear that we were not in an alliance with them. So right there, he's saying that he didn't lie. So if he would have came up to us and started talking to us, it would have been a lie, obviously. So yeah, he didn't even confront us. Nobody in Sawa confronted us at all. So we were kind of.
You guys didn't confront us.
Well, we didn't. We weren't just gonna go confront people randomly.
Two tribes went over to the red tribe and tried to recruit red. I mean purple, Opal. Red and green both tried to recruit Opal. You guys won. It wasn't that you couldn't trust us. As much as we didn't come to you, none of you ever came to us.
Would you want to come to us? We're the three.
Wouldn't you?
I don't know. We're
That
just kinda
comment
sitting
works
in the-
both ways.
I don't know.
And I did come to you guys, and at a point I turned to you and Curtin, to Jeremiah and said, they're voting against you, Jeremiah. They think you have an idol. You tell me anyone you want me to vote for, and I'll vote for him, hands down. And what did you guys do? You dropped the ball, and you went, I don't know, and then proceeded to vote me out, but then sealed all your own fate when you could have changed the numbers. You guys screwed up.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, well. Yeah.
David,
tough.
take control. David, take control.
I know he's taking control like this podcast is the Solid Tribe or something, so I'll take it back. But no, actually, Amanda and I had this conversation earlier today. We talked about Saturday night and Sunday morning and the options. There's so many options. The problem with this game is it goes so fast. There's not much time to switch things, to move things. Let's go back just a second though. We go back Friday night. Everybody's doing. How much sleep did you get, Amanda? Not knowing knowing that you've just given away 2 players and that you might be facing the 4th tribe.
Yeah, I barely got any sleep at all. I don't know. It was just cold. Ground was cold, hard. It was bad, but you know. But I would say something. I do have to say something, Jason. You did say to Jeremiah that I was plotting against him.
No, I said that. I said, look at Spencer's talking with her. He might be. Because I didn't know what he was saying to you. Because Spencer just came up to me and said, will you vote for Jeremiah? He has an idol. And if I think I can get enough votes on him. The problem was Jeremy had a miscommunication, didn't hear me right. Or that's what he told me. So I believe that because I don't think it got relayed to each of you guys. When he passed the information to you, I think he heard it wrong. So if we played the telephone game in a sense, and you guys didn't get everything I was saying to you. But it just goes back to you have such a minimal amount of time to talk because the game moves so quick that it's hard. You have like 2 seconds to make a decision, and you're forced to stick with that until you get 2 seconds again later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Saturday morning, we're going to get through this part because I don't want to keep you guys all night. But Saturday morning, the Kidnap Tribe, which I guess was their official name, got woken up, Ryan. And what did y'all have to do first thing Saturday morning?
So John, I think Andy walked in with these boards and they set them down. They realized there's 3 separate 16-piece sliding puzzles. So we were told that we were going to be competing with the person we came in with, so basically the first from our original tribe, and would be competing for a reward in the form of a advantage at the immunity challenge, one of the challenges for the upcoming day. So actually at that point is when I realized that I think we're going back to our original tribe. So it didn't really make much sense for me thinking we're competing against each other for a reward that's going to go to a tribe that we're not going to end up on. So at that point I thought that we were going to be going back, but it is still, up in the air. But yes, we competed in that. We all kind of just was, throwing pieces around, just kind of sliding puzzles. I'm not great at sliding puzzles, so we kind of struggled a bit, but Jason and Maria end up winning that, so they get an advantage on one of the challenges to come that day. And then we kind of sat down for a little more, and then we headed off to meet the rest of the 18 people at the challenge beach today.
Yep, so Saturday morning the tribes are out there, and here comes the Kidnap Tribe, including Jason the Puzzle King. And he tells you to go back to your tribes, and we get a day full of really good challenges, including a cart challenge that takes off half of Ryan's knee. And which you had to get medical for.
I became good friends with medical that day.
Dwayne, just letting you know her phone's dying again, so if she can try and get up on her computer, that would be great.
All right, I'll send it again.
So we get into the challenges on Saturday. Once again, they're a great challenge by Kevin and his crew. We start with the vote-offs, and I don't want to go into too much detail with those. There's a lot of good blogs, including Ryan's, including Kurt's, that go through the days of the vote-outs and stuff. And as we're getting further into the game, Jason, are you good with the 4 that are left on the Sour Tribe? Is that the best 4 that you can take into the merge?
No. It's back now.
What happened then?
Thinking back now, no, it's not. At the time, I thought it was. I really did. If I could go back and change it, I would obviously get rid of Maria because she turned out to be way sneakier than we give her credit for, and decided to flip to better herself, which it did. It wasn't a move of loyalty, like she said, but it was a move to better herself in the game and put her in a better position, which it clearly did. If knowing what we know now, we should have kept probably Dan instead of her. I think Dan would have been loyal to the point of cutting his own arm off to better the group, which is what you always want.
Yeah, I can tell you, she was kind of bothered by the idol thing. She knew that at the Kidnap Tribe that once you had that was yours. She was already at that point talking about what she was going to be doing. She didn't talk about flipping or anything. She was very savvy. She's played some other games. I think she's played Real Foot, and Corey's also played, and Corey's actually won a few games as well. And I loved asking Corey, and not to insult any other games or anything, but I said, how does this game compare? He goes, dude, this is intense. Physically and mentally, this is intense. So he gave a lot of, for somebody that's had experience playing other reality games like this, like Survivor, he gave it a lot of props. So were your tribe, Brian, seemed to evolve or rotate as the day went along, because we talked quite a few times about who was going next and this, that, and the other, and it finally came down to Spencer, Trolley, you, and Rachel. And obviously that turned out good for you, So was there anything that happened special that day that changed the tribe around, that changed who went with you?
No, not for the most. I mean, I guess at the very, very start of Saturday, the Final Four that we ended up with was not the same as the Final Four that I was going in that day planning for. The only person, well, three of us were, me, Spencer, and Twyla. That was my top three. That was solid. I think during the day, I think just kind of, it was definitely going to be Derek first, Samantha next, and then it kind of got a little bit dicier from there. I think really from actually Friday, I feel like Rachel kind of, at least with me, kind of made a bigger impact. I kind of just, grew to like her a lot more. So she was originally number 6, but I think really just her socially, she just kind of worked her way into the core and just kind of bumped out Wendy and then bumped out Corey for that 4th place spot with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of neat because the number 4 was a rotating slot. It seemed like all day, I guess Friday and Saturday.
It kind of was. I think it started out being Rachel was 4, Wendy was 5, Rachel 6, Wendy 5, Corey 4. Rachel 6, Corey 5, Wendy 4, and just that 4th spot kind of rotated around. And just kind of throughout the day, we just ended up going with who we felt more confident of bringing to the merge.
And what was neat was that the Ahaso tribe just got more dramatic as the weekend went along. It seemed to flip back and forth as to which way it was going. First, they took out a player in John, who was a fundraising winner to get back to the game. And then you started attacking the survivors, and it went back and forth to Julie. And so going into the second to last challenge, Ahaso had 4. Had Amanda, Jeremiah, Laura, and Keith. And you guys had to vote. And you went to a tie vote for 2 for Amanda, 2 for Keith. So how nervous were you that you were going to be building fire in about 5 minutes?
I was so afraid. I literally thought it was going to be that Laura was going to vote for Keith right away, and then she ended up voting for me, and I was freaking out. I was like, no. And I understand her reasoning for that, though, because, what would have happened if we would have lost the next challenge? I honestly don't know what really would have happened. It would have been really hard because I was so tight with Jeremiah.
Uh-oh. See if she froze. Yeah, I don't know if we lost her or she may have froze. But
I'm still here, so it's okay.
You're still here. It's okay. So the bad part is Laura ended up changing her vote, or the bad part for Jason, Laura changed her vote and went against Keith, along with Amanda and Jeremiah, which took Keith out of the game right before the merge, who really had dreams and plans of getting to the merge and bearding up and working on an alliance. Is that right, Jason?
Yeah, we were kind of giving each other that look all day long in passing of like, hey, we're together. Just make it to that point, and we can team up, and I got room for you, and let's work. And unfortunately for him and I, he got booted just one step before I needed him. So that sucked. I could have used the number.
So would you have gone to Ahaso then instead of Opa?
Yeah, probably. Just because if he was there or if Matt was there, I definitely would have. It would have been nice. Laura, we wanted to work with her and thought it'd be great, but at that point we felt the numbers were already against her.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't have that. She didn't have anyone she could persuade to bring to us.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as smart for us in our strategy talk of approaching them. That's why we went with Opa. But they did the same thing. They never came to us. They never said a word to us. We tried to initiate some form of conversation. It got blown off fast, so we just ended it, saying basically we know where this is going. They want to work with Opa, but so do we. And we were kind of hoping out that fact of let's put the survivors together. Hopefully we have that common link. But very clearly and quickly, you could tell that once we started playing again, that wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
I stole him.
Yeah.
So one other significant event happened on Saturday during one of the immunity challenges. It had to do with some boxes that were flipped over, and I think it affected Jason in his game. So what happened in that match game challenge? It kind of may have screwed up your game. You remember?
Yeah, that sucked. It sucked. Hidden in there was in the match game, 2 boxes had immunity idols in it. And there was rules that you had to read out loud immediately, but the 2 idols were different. We didn't know. I found one of them, which sucked. and it was basically just let everyone know you have an immunity idol. Rules are the same as the other idol already in your pocket. So all of a sudden I have 2. That makes you a huge threat with nowhere to go. And there wasn't much I could do about it. Now, I wish the other one was found because the other one had a great twist to it, just an absolute incredible twist, and that was if you found that one, you couldn't keep it. You had to give it away to somebody in one of the other tribes. Genius. You're spotlighting, you get to either A, spotlight the heck out of somebody, or B, buy a relationship of someone that might be in danger.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great play, great move. You know, me getting mine, it sucked. I already had one. Now it's making it that much worse. Of like, hey, everybody, he's got 2 idols. He's great at challenges. He's proven he knows puzzles, and he's strong as can be, and he's fast. Good luck beating him in a lot of different things. So it kind of brought the world down on top of me, and everyone was gunning me as public enemy number 1, and they sure did. I was the first vote. I was the second vote. And I was the third vote. I just ran out of idols.
Yeah, it's so ironic that we're used to seeing the celebration on TV when somebody finds an idol. That some people are brought to tears, but when Jason pulls this idol up at the match game, I was expecting him to throw it into the water or to go knock down a tree because you could tell that he was not a happy camper when he put that thing in his pocket and walked back to his group. It was like, really? You want to make me more of a target? Why don't you just give me 3 more idols and give me to the final 5? You know, it just
would have been nice. I would have played.
Yeah.
We thought he might have more. I mean, when we got to the merge, I thought he may have had 3. I mean, there was like potential for 4 if he found like even the merge one. So, yeah, that's quite a big target on his back.
Don't think I didn't look.
Oh, I know you were looking. Yeah, that's why I thought I feel like you found it. Because I actually later found a clue, and I thought I found a spot where I thought it may be, and it was not. There was nothing there. So I'm like, I think Jason's got a 3rd idol.
Yeah, that was interesting. So it's amazing how this game just rolled out. The way it plays. Anybody could have found those boxes. It could have gone any other way. But the poor guy finds it, and
oh yeah, the poor guy.
The poor guy. You know, he's already got the big targets on him. So Ryan couldn't have been happier.
I'm sorry for it. This is the time that I needed a little bit of aid.
That's right. So now Jason's our first boot on merge day, second boot, and third boot, all on merge day, whatever comes first. So, but do you want to see the beast in Jason? Give him idols, let him know he's the target, and watch him play physical challenges. Then you'll see the beast side of Jason. So going into the merge night, what was the atmosphere at the tribe before we came and woke you guys up again to come get late night confessionals?
By the time you guys got to us, we were all pretty much just around the campfire. But immediately when we merged, like on our way back, I was working red. Laura, I think I talked to Laura the entire way back, and then as soon as we got back to camp, I started chit-chatting with Amanda and Jeremiah because my goal was to pull in. I had an in with Laura, and I thought that maybe she could bring in Amanda and Jeremiah. So my main goal that night was just bring those 3 in, get those 3. We'd have 4 with Opa, have a solid 7 against 4. And then just systematically remove all of green. And we knew Jason had 2 idols at that point, so we thought we'd have to split the votes first time, second time, and then hope he didn't have an idol a third time. That was exactly what we did. I just kind of stuck to I thought green would actually go for red versus coming to Twyla and Spencer to kind of pull in the purple vote. So it actually really worked out that they didn't because as soon as we found out they were targeting Jeremiah, we went to Jeremiah and said, hey, they're trying to vote you out, so you guys really had no choice but to come with us now. And that pretty much sealed the deal.
He listens to you when you say it, but not me.
I'm kind of smile.
Can't see your smile, Jason, for all the hair on your face.
It's underneath there.
So what was your in with Laura? You said you had an in with Laura. Was that the kidnap time night?
Yeah, part of that. We just had like a good vibe. When I first met her, she told me she was a teacher. One of my best friends is a teacher named Laura. So I just kind of like felt like an odd coincidental connection there. I just, you kind of like just read people and just, there's something just, you got like a vibe there that feels like you can like work together and trust each other. And then we kind of just rekindled that at the kidnap group, saying like, hey, if we're sticking here, we'll work together. If not, hopefully we can merge and work together. And just among the 3 reds, I knew that I had the best shot of going to her, so I did that first. Then was I going to talk to her, and we were on the same page as far as getting out the idol hog. We kind of went to Jeremiah and Amanda after that, and I felt like I was having. I think I went on like several walks that night to water. I think I was for the first time with Laura, then I went back to camp. Pulled ahead with Amanda. Then on the way back from that walk, I pulled ahead with Jeremiah. So I was able to reach not only all three of them collectively, but also individually to kind of put us in a spot of where, hey, come work with, not so much come work with Opa, but, come work with me. Kind of a little bit distance myself from Opa, thinking that way long term, they wouldn't so much just be, 7, 6, and 5. Like I was kind of playing the role of, hey, I kind of want to work with you guys. You seem like good people. I'd be willing to make out, an end game deal with you guys versus just sticking it to Opa and Ahaso. So I want to be in that position too, where I want to be the one to kind of be, I guess, the swing vote, or make them think I was a swing vote, because that way they wouldn't be going to anybody else. They would be focusing all their energy on me and trying to work with me versus trying to work against me with the rest of OPA. So that's kind of just what I stuck to, and just, mainly just was working them most of the night. And what Jason said too, I mean, they said that, Sawa didn't really approach us. We didn't approach them. My logic with that was I was already pretty dead set on removing Jason and, just getting rid of his idols, so having to, take out Kelly and Kurt with those. And I really saw I didn't want to just go to Jason and just BS him and say, hey, yeah, we're going to go to the end. I just knew it wasn't worth, lying to him for no reason. I felt like with where I was, I didn't have to do that. So I didn't really approach him at all. But again, I didn't know I was going to go to him just to lie to him, so I kind of held back and just made all my focus on securing the red votes. And then eventually Maria kind of she really came to us. I felt like she came to me and Twyla specifically and said, hey, I really like you guys. I want to work with you guys. And, it's always kind of weird in the situation. You never really trust if the person who's coming to you saying, I want to flip, is actually wanting to flip. Just from my read on her the past couple of days, she seemed very genuine. So I believed her. And at that point, we kind of pulled her in, even got her on the Jason plan. So at that point, we really had 8 votes. So we had enough to split for as many times as we needed to until we got rid of all of the Jason's idols.
Yeah, that was my next question, is did you go to Maria or did she come to you? It sounds like she went to you.
Yeah, I think we knew that we were trying to maybe work with her, but at that point, numbers-wise, we didn't quite need. Well, I guess we kind of needed her, because otherwise it would have been 4-3-4. But I would credit more her coming to us than us really pursuing her a lot. I think, and maybe her and Twyla maybe weren't her a little bit more than the rest of us did, but I think for the most part, Maria kind of came to us.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe Maria went to you.
Yeah, Maria was a savvy little player. She wanted to make a move.
That Maria would go to you guys rather than you trying to recruit her over because you didn't need her.
Right. I mean, we didn't really need her at that point.
So it makes sense to me that she would see that and go, I better try and save myself.
Yeah, I think she was thinking, I don't want to be number 8, so I'm going to try to work my way in and get, top 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with Donna. I thought Maria did the right thing. It was probably a timing thing too, because it looked better for her to come sooner rather than at the last minute.
Right. To be like,
I'll go with you. Say that Ryan and his people would sit there and welcome her in with open arms after Kelly's gone, Kurt's gone, I'm gone. At that point, why? Why would you even welcome? She had to go when she did if she wanted to make it work. So she picked the perfect timing.
Yeah.
And we actually, with her, I had kind of, the night of our kidnap camp, at one point she and I were awake in the night together, and we actually kind of were talking about, I think more specifically on that tribe of 6 or group of 6 to be working together. So I think that just kind of carried over to the merge, where she at least knew me, so she could go to and kind of approach to say, hey, I really want to work with you guys. So I think it was helpful having that bond or relationship, or to be able to talk to her at the kidnap camp to kind of have at least some sort of established bond there to draw her in. Versus, I don't think if she had no one to jump to, I'm not sure if she would have done it. But because she kind of had me and she liked Twyla, I think we kind of, she felt like she could come to us and, we welcome her.
Yeah, she already had that relationship, and at the same time, she saddled up with a guy with 2 idols, and he's got a big target on his back who's going to be a big challenge threat. So, and plus with Kelly, who's locked in with Kelly, so she was wise to see that she was not going to get far with this group because they were going to start picking them off. And plus, she maybe even see Ahaso and Opa having their conversations, and not Ahaso and Sawa.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure at one point, literally, Opa and Ahaso all went off, and Sawa stayed back at camp. And I was kind of like, why did we just do that? But I think at that point she probably realized I need to get to the other side instead of sticking around here in the minority.
Yeah.
And we all scrambled looking for that idol when we realized what happened.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I got to go with Andy and Jordan as we walked you guys to your camp for your merge night. And as soon as you all got there, it was the nice traditional, we're changing our shirts, we're doing the handshakes. Hey, I enjoyed your season. This is fun. I'm so glad we made the merge. Kurt gave me the joke on the walk back of I'm dateable now because I made the merge. And it was funny because I was in the middle of the group walking, and I so wanted to say something to Ahaso because, we heard through the handlers that there was quite a bit of a rivalry between Opa and Sala. These two tribes had a rivalry. They trash talked. They really want to take each other out. And Ahaso was kind of the swing tribe in the middle. So I'm in the group walking, and I'm talking to Kurt for a few seconds, but I really wanted to get away from him because I wanted to give him a chance to talk to somebody else. Don't talk to me. I'm just an extra. I'm not really in the game. I want you to talk. And he did. He moved away. He started talking to other people. But I looked at the front of the line, and all three Ahaso players are carrying the box, walking together, not talking to anybody. I'm like, come on, you got to split up. You got to make your moves. You got to pick who you want to work with. You got to go find what you're doing. So I still wanted to say something, but obviously I couldn't. But I noticed that. That's what I look for. I look for who's standing next to who's sleeping next to who, which was a joke of a question, but it was a serious question.
That's your biggest thing to remember. Watch who sleeps next to each other. That will tell you who's really in bed with who.
Right. Yeah, Mike made that kind of a joke in confessionals, but he was totally serious. He wanted to know who were you going to be, snoring next to, and who are you not.
No, I kind of touched on that like in my blogs, but first night at Opa, I was sleeping next to who I was with. The second night at the kidnap camp, I kind of saw who was the center, who was the outside, and at the merge night, it was Opa and Ahaso in bed, and then I think Rachel slept by the fire. I think she liked to kind of like keep an eye on Sala, but it was that's exactly how it played out. Who was sleeping with who was working with who.
Yeah, and so that was neat. But I don't know if you ever heard about this, but when you guys all decided to go get water, I think it was Twyla first said, I'm going to get water. A couple other people said they're going, and then y'all just said, okay, everybody can go. As you guys all walked, and Andy and Jordan went kind of with you guys, I was last, and I was going to follow the group, and suddenly this guy with the beard taps Kelly, and they stop. I'm like, I kind of walk up, and Kelly's like, come over, talk to us, like we're doing a little confessional. But that's not what they wanted to do. Tell Ryan what you and Kelly thought about doing right there.
We went idol hunting.
He looked at Kelly. He looked at Kelly and said, we can go get water, or we can tear this camp apart and find another idol because we need it.
And Kurt knew. And Kurt went up twice with full canteens to go get more water. And Kelly and I stayed back, and we tore that camp apart looking for that idol that we never found.
I think it's still there.
Apparently I talked to them after, and Andy had said we were in the right spot, but just barely off.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all were close, very close. Since Amanda's back.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. Actually, your volume was really good too. That's probably from being low on your phone. I just gave you kind of a ration for what I thought was a big mistake, and I want people to know about in the game. When we did the merge walk, right when you guys merged, we walked from the game through Stump Corral. We walked to your new camp. When we did that, I was just telling them that the handlers were feeding us information all the time. It was great. And like Andy and Mike said, what you told them was kept confidential. Nothing was shared. Nothing was used. So we were watching to see who was walking with who was talking to who, because we knew Opa and Sala had a little rivalry going, and Ahaso would kind of be in the middle. And as y'all walked from the pitch to the camp, all three Ahaso players were in the front of the line carrying the box, not talking to anybody but each other. And I still wanted to say, hey, you guys need to break up and talk to other people. You already know each other. You need to blend, because every Opa player was matched with the Sala player. They were exchanging players. They were talking to different people. Ryan was already working his game. Everybody was blending. And we were like, uh-oh, this is how it's going to start. So that's just a thought that I wanted to share that I remember observing about you guys being separate in that walk. Just like the walk on Thursday night when you walked from the canoes, when you picked the survivors to Stump Corral. That's where you mingle. That's where you work. But like Jason was saying earlier, you get seen talking to people. You don't want to talk to them for long, so you got to move on. But so that's just something I wanted to point out about in playing this game, especially this game, is how quick this game goes. Taking advantage of every second. So what were your thoughts? What were y'all talking about up there at the front of the merge wall?
Basically, well, the thing was that us three kind of thought that one of the two, either green or purple, were going to come to us. We just thought that would be the most logical thing, was that either one of us then would try to take us three so that we could pick off the other team. And then, honestly, it would have been smart for them because they could have just picked us three out. But we would have tried to work our way in, and see if we could get anybody to flip. I think that was kind of what our thought was, is that it was so apparent that we were so together. So it's like, why not snag 3 solid votes? Like, why? It made no sense to me. And so we were just kind of so comfortable that somebody's going to pick us. One of the two colors is going to pick us. And then, we're all three just going to go with them. And purple came to us first. So they got all 3 of our votes. So we were confused as to why Sawa didn't even try to talk to us at all. It was really odd, to be honest, because whenever we went anywhere, Kurt would follow us. He would follow us everywhere we went. And we knew that was to gather intel. We knew he wasn't flipping, so I had to watch what I was saying. But it was just it was very apparent that they weren't going to move anywhere. And I could tell that Jason was pulling Spencer off to the side. Jason was pulling Twyla off to the side. I knew what he was trying to do, but they weren't going to have any of it. So we just felt confident, like, okay, well, we'll just go with Opa and then at least pick off Sawa, and then we can battle from there. But, I'd say that's definitely why we were so, just in our own world, is because we thought that they would need us three. So, and maybe we should have switched that up. Maybe we should have done something different, obviously. But that's kind of where our thoughts were at that moment.
Yeah, it's tough whenever you're in, the kind of, swing vote, because you don't want to make yourself glued to one way or the other. You kind of want to be, you kind of got to talk to people, but you don't want to be talking so much that people are assuming you're with someone. I think you kind of want to, you want to have people come to you. I probably would have done a similar thing. I would have kind of just played both sides versus trying to talk too much to one or too much to the other. Because I just would probably try to play the middle more.
Yeah, and like I said, we really didn't even have an option. We didn't get talked to by Green at all. So
we talked to Jeremiah.
Okay, well.
But he just wasn't happening. But at the same time, you sit there and you say, obviously you should have went with the other route. That's not necessarily. You can't play that what-if game because there's no way of ever telling it would make you do better. It could have made you do worse.
Yeah.
It only takes a couple people from, our tribe to flip and go with Opa, and they team up against you guys and us.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's a factor, because if we would have been going back and forth, we would have looked kind of slimy, and that's not what we wanted. And then we would have just gotten picked off really quick. So I think it was kind of just to kind of play a little bit under the radar and just go with whatever team wanted to carry us, and that's kind of what we did. So
just to add
some. Oh, go ahead, David. I was going to say y'all have some. That's okay. Go ahead, David.
Kurt in the chat room wanted to confess basically that I was gathering no intel. I was trying to initiate a conversation with Ahaso as a plan B. I just sucked at it.
That's a valid statement.
Was Kurt supposed to watch Ahaso, Jason? Was he sent off to follow them to make sure they didn't do anything?
We didn't send him off. He would go. And Kelly and I understood what he was doing. We knew Kurt was loyal. Kurt was loyal. But Kurt was also doing what he should, make sure just in case he feels he needs to leave to have a plan B. And that's what he was doing. We knew he was going to stay with us as long as he felt he possibly could without having to go somewhere else. But if he felt he needed to, he would have. He underplays how well he views the game. And he does. He views the game well. He had secrets that he didn't tell us. He opened up about certain secrets to selected people that are risky. And not everyone knew that. I mean, I got certain secret Kurt conversations that nobody else got. But he was very observant of what he was doing. He just tries to downplay certain things of how well he views the game. And he had the best weapon of all. He had a weaponized shrug.
Hey, Ryan, was there any strategy to keeping Ahaso close to you guys that night, trying not to let them meet with Sawa, or were y'all paying attention to that?
We didn't really have to. Like, I mean, it was just clear that at least I thought they had pretty much set their grounds with us pretty quickly. But we kind of had like a group powwow at one point with just the 4 open and 3 Hasso where, we kind of just locked it down. Like, Jason's got 2 idols. Whether or not you guys want to flip or go with him later, I mean, right now we have to address that. And I think at that point, it just made. I'm like, no way are they not going to go for that plan. So I felt pretty good that we had them. So I wasn't really too concerned about them talking. And really, once it got dark out, we pretty much were at the fire anyway. At that point, there really wasn't a lot of strategy talk going on besides maybe some small private conversations.
Yeah, and two, again, the reason we felt so confident with it is because we really felt it would be almost silly we knew what Jason was kind of trying to do. It was pretty apparent that he was trying to pull Spencer and Twyla. But it would be so silly for them to go that route because he had 2 idols. So say all 6 of them got to the end, they're going to get picked off. So it makes sense.
Why would it be silly? I might have to use it beforehand.
I don't know.
Who says I don't use one of these idols to make a turn and save one of them?
I don't know. To us, from their standpoint, if I were in that situation, I would want to go that route.
Yeah, so but it's possible to overthink your own game.
True.
The people do it all the time in Survivor. Spencer does it. He overthinks it so hard that he shoots himself in the foot every time he plays at the most critical time possible.
Yeah. I don't know. We just felt that we could trust them, and we knew that if we were in their shoes, that's what we would do. So it made sense to go with them because we knew that we were pretty confident that they were going to stick with Opa. So that's why we decided to go with them.
Well, before we get to Sunday morning, I just want to mention that last season, I was informed about a few people that just didn't get into the confessional part. They just didn't really like talking. This 24 were great confessionals, all of them, from the beginning to end. You guys were great to talk to. One of my favorite confessionals, besides Twyla's I'm still sleeping confessionals, was Jason's Merge Night confessional. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let you wait for the video. I'm not going to tell you about it, but watch that. I know Caleb's going to include it. Watch that confessional because you're going to laugh. You're going to strain to listen, and you're going to think, is that the guy I just watched run through all these challenges? It's the funniest thing I got to watch. I can't wait for it to come out. It's probably going to come out soon, but he knows what I'm talking about. It was hilarious. It was subtle, yet hilarious. But you guys were great merge night. We thought it would be the shortest night, and you guys just wanted to talk. And we gave you a great setup with all the torches and the fire, and it was so much fun from my side.
That was a late night.
Yeah, that was a very late night. So Sunday morning, and this is something I wish could adapt, is Sunday goes so fast between the immunity challenges and the tribal councils. There's almost no time to make the move. And with Kelly going first, because Jason supposedly forgot his second idol, would you have played your idol on her?
I would have. I really left it in my bag. I only brought one idol to it. I didn't think that they were going to – I thought they were just going to go heavy on me.
Yeah.
And I didn't see Kelly as big of a threat to them right away.
Well, that would make sense.
That's why we did it.
Yeah, that's why you do it.
Why not take out your closest ally? Yeah. So.
Well, I thought they might go after one of the other two.
Sometimes you overthink yourself out of the game. It just.
I didn't overthink myself out of the game.
I mean, yeah, we
stay in the game.
We actually thought he'd probably play 2 idols, so we were thinking, who is he? We're trying to get in his head as far as him thinking, like, who should I play it on? Like, they're probably gonna assume that I played on Kelly, so they're not gonna vote for her. So we're thinking maybe he'd give it to Kurt or Maria, so we voted for Kelly. That was kind of my thought process there. I mean, I was expecting him to play 2 idols there for sure.
So did you do a 3-way vote split? Because I was near the far side.
No, we didn't have the numbers to do a 3-way. We knew they were going to have 3 votes no matter what, so we couldn't have done a perfect 3-3-3. If we were to 12, we could have, but it would have been 3-3-2, and if he had played the correct ones on the 3-3, then their votes would have been sent someone home.
So who did y'all vote for, Jason, that first one? Do you remember? Because if they were voting for you and Kelly, if you had played both idols.
I think we went Jeremiah.
Yeah, they went Jeremiah.
Okay, so if you played both idols, Jeremiah would have been on.
Yep.
In the number 11 spot.
Yeah.
All right, so instead Kelly goes, and then Jason's got one more idol, and he loses that challenge. And I think, is that the obstacle challenge where y'all?
No, that was the storytelling one.
Yeah, I won that challenge.
I think Jeremiah won that challenge, actually.
Yeah, Jeremiah was way behind me. I don't know how he He magically got
it's magic. It's probably
ring.
When
I
was
think he's like Derek Copperfield.
when was the obstacle challenge? Was that first?
That was at 9.
That was the third one.
That was the third one. Okay. All right. So the first one the first one is that's right, the superlative challenge where you got to guess who's what and you break the tiles. Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that was the first one.
The second one was good. Yes, tell us about your little trick there with the second one, Ryan.
Yeah, so the goal was to go through the whole obstacle course and get get 5 rings, put them on your little stack, and whoever's first to 5 wins. And John mentioned, I wouldn't even guess this to be part of the challenge, but he mentioned if you accidentally place a ring on someone else's stack.
He harped on that fact.
Yeah, I almost wonder if that was intentional, and I really don't know. But so as soon as I heard that, I'm standing between. Anyway, so if you put on the wrong person's, it becomes theirs, so you kind of give them an advantage. So when I heard that, I was standing between Laura on my left and Amanda and Jeremiah on my right, and I kind of leaned in and go, if Jason's in the lead, come back with a ring and just place it on Laura's. I just picked Laura kind of just randomly. So that way, if we're not winning, we just can't have Jason win. So we knew he had at least one more idol, so we knew that he had to not be immune, so we could flush that idol again. So at that point, that was my plan to really not win, just make sure Jason doesn't win. And sure enough, he's ahead the entire time. I think it came down to Jeremiah had gotten 3, Jason was off getting his 4th. So I knew that it was going to be one of them, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't Jason. So I'm coming back with my second ring maybe. I placed it on Jeremiah's, and I hear the John say, Ryan back with 4, and I'm like, that's not mine, but I keep running. So then I hear Jason back with I think Jason, you did get 4, I think.
I was on my way back with my 5th.
Yeah, so I heard Jason's back with 4. I was on my way back with another ring, and I'm like, I know Jason's at 4, Jeremiah's at 4. I heard them say Jeremiah back with his, and he's wrong. So I knew that Jeremiah was not going to beat Jason on his own. So it was really, I think as Jason was running 2-1, I was running back with mine. I put my ring on Jeremiah's, it's his 5th one, and then they say Ryan wins immunity, and then I'm like, no, check the colors, because we each had a color coordinated, assigned color, and then he kind of does a little double take, and actually it goes like, Jeremiah wins immunity. So I effectively kind of just blocked Jason from winning immunity based on how the rules of the challenge kind of worked.
All right, so if you're listening before you play your season of Durham Warriors, this is how deep sometimes you have to think just to make sure your path gets to the end. Sometimes there's that one episode. This is like episode 9 or 10 where Ryan makes this big move and it works in his favor. But this is depth of Survivor. I love this strategy and the fact that he thought about it before the challenge even went. You got to approach every challenge. Go ahead, Amanda.
And I was going to add too, so if that was your main strategy, was then just to block Jason, is kind of what you're going for? Okay, we'll see. Jeremiah thought it was almost as well as a trust thing. So then he trusted you guys, and it almost secured our trust with you as well. So it kind of, I guess, invertedly worked towards your favor, like double. So
yeah, at that point, I didn't really care who won as long as it wasn't Jason. And I kind of had a feeling after the fact that I think I just realized I made Jeremiah trust me a lot more because I just gave him immunity.
Yeah, definitely.
It was I wasn't on the forefront of my mind, but I was aware. Once it was over, then that probably was worth some points for me.
I mean, we even looked at it from our aspect when we were talking about it as a jury. Not only was it a block on me, but we looked at it as you bought his vote. You bought his loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and he actually told me after the game, he's like, that's the point where you locked in my jury vote even. Like that. From then on, if you were in the final 3, I was in the jury, you had my vote 100% just based on the first couple merged votes and that move to give me the immunity there.
It was a great move. It was honestly a great move. And it couldn't have worked out any better for you.
Nope.
Absolutely. So Jason plays his idol again, plays the second idol. Kurt gets taken out.
Yeah.
On a split vote, and then we're down to 9. And then we come to what is probably my favorite challenge of the weekend. I think it's partly new, but I know the rope part was new. But you had to crawl. Amanda, tell us, since you had a pretty good first run, tell us about your trip through that obstacle challenge.
Is that where she beat Jason?
Oh yeah, did she beat Jason that round?
Only on a puzzle.
I thought you were good at those. I thought you were good at puzzles.
I wasn't. I was better at puzzles than you were.
I don't know about that.
Go ahead, Amanda. Tell us about your victory run.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Basically, just when we started off, I just wanted to stay right behind Jason because I knew that that maze. Looking at the first group of runners that went up there, they were just all lost, and it was a maze. I thought it was just a straight through thing, but apparently it was a maze under the cargo. So yeah, I just followed right behind Jason. I was like, all right, if I just stick right behind him, no matter what, I'm only gonna be like 2 seconds behind him when he gets out of the net. So that's what I did, and then I just, ran to the obstacle, and I really wanted to beat him. I honestly thought it was kind of silly of me to want to beat him so bad, because then it would make me look like more of a challenge threat, to be honest. But I just wanted to beat Jason, so I just went as fast as I could, I guess. And then I think my foot got caught in the tangled net, and I was kind of panicked going a little bit, but then I just slowly got out of it. And he started out on the puzzle a little bit before me, and I just tried to stay calm, and I knew to do corners first. So I did that, and I just started to slowly fit the pieces in. And, yeah, it felt really great to win that challenge.
So, Jason, did you know she was right behind you in the challenge?
Oh, I definitely did. I felt her at one point where I widened up. I mean, I beat her to the first part, and I beat her out of there, and I started making a run. And I turned, I looked, and she was right there, so I knew I had to pick it up. And once I picked it up, I blew past her again. But all of a sudden, once I went under that net in the mud, she was right there again. So she did everything she could to keep up with me, and we had the same approach on the puzzle. She just was she saw the end put together on that puzzle way before I did. And she was able to, because I went for corners and then side pieces, but she saw where they fit quicker than I did, and that's where she really smoked me, was assembling the puzzle.
Yeah, and that was honestly the same thing then with the second round when Ryan went up. He came to the puzzle last out of all of us and still beat both Jeremiah and I, which was just crazy. Because I was just starting to get paranoid. The pieces weren't fitting in. I was just like, oh my goodness, and
Well, I was lucky enough to go. I was in the third heat of the first three, so I was the only one who had to go back to back in that final heat. So I was pretty dead tired after the first. I was actually doing the puzzle. I was up against Spencer and Rachel, and I'm almost kind of just going like, I knew Jason was already out, so we're good. I'm like, I was kind of almost hoping Spencer would like beat me at the puzzle, so I wouldn't have to go through the thing twice. And then it's kind of like he's not doing it, so I just kind of I finish it from there. And then I think they told me we're gonna give you a little bit of time to relax and go before you go to the next heat. But I think it may have been 5 minutes and we were going again. So I mean, Amanda and Jeremiah were like way ahead of me. I mean, I knew I was jogging. They were kind of still running. I knew that my only shot really was to maybe make up time at the puzzle. And actually looking back at the video, I think I was only like 30 seconds behind them getting to the puzzles. I wasn't I actually kind of caught up. I think that the rope maze or lobster crawl kind of slowed everybody down. So I knew that I was in it. I was still behind, but then again, the puzzle thing kind of just came together for me quicker, and I kind of came from behind there and won it.
Yeah, that was a very physical challenge. We enjoyed it.
That was I think the hardest physically for me for sure. And then going back to back too.
Yeah, there's one in our season where it was a rope maze where you had to follow the rope through the maze, and Troyzan won that. But we enjoyed it because we were sitting there watching the bounty hunter get chased. So it was different. Or excuse me, the fugitive retrieval agent being chased by the little girl. It was keeping up with him the whole time. And then what was also so awesome was that everybody that competed in it made it to the puzzle. Nobody quit. Nobody stopped working. Twyla fought through the very end and got all the way up to the puzzle. It was so awesome to see them play that way. And that was just a great Immunity Day challenge.
I think the reason that happened was everybody just wanted it. And everybody competed and treated it as you were actually playing again or playing for the first time. And everybody really put everything into it. And the people that haven't got to play what we have, I believe, got as close to it and really got that feeling of, none of us returnees were just mailing it in. That we were really competing with them. We wanted to beat them. We wanted to give them everything they could. I make the joke like with Dan. Dan really wanted to win it, and he wanted that real Survivor experience. And I gave it to him via a blindside, but we gave it to Ryan and Amanda and everything else with we want to win. I want to beat you. I'm not here for fun.
Yeah.
I'm here to win this and take my Bob home, but unfortunately, Ryan was just better at it than I was with this one. His social game was on point. Amanda was in it, and she was seeing the strategic sides of everything and was a hell of a competitor. None of us just mailed it in. Every single person really fought and wanted it, and that's what made it so good.
Absolutely. To answer Dwayne's question at the beginning, everybody was in it to win it. That was good. In fact, as much as Jason was a crowd favorite with his speeches at Tribal and his hustle and the challenges, I think the biggest roar came when that little girl beat you in that puzzle and won that round of that challenge. I'm sorry, that was just one of my favorite challenges. Not because she beat you, but I like the whole aspect of that challenge.
I don't know what challenge we're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't think you've already blocked it out of your mind. It was a challenge right before you got voted out of the game.
Yeah. I still don't think I was voted out yet.
Yeah, did Jason win? I thought he won. No.
I don't know. I asked John for a recount. I think it's still under suspicion.
It's still under protest. That's right.
Brian stuffed the ballot box.
Yeah.
We're going to go back and show a clip of you getting voted out to remind ourselves. But after that, there's a quick blind side, I think, of Twyla. And this is kind of neat because when did Twyla change out her stump? What tribal was that?
When what?
Like when she changed her voting?
No, I read that she picked up her stump to change out her stump, and under her stump was something that Jeremiah picked up.
At the tribal council where you vote out Kurt,
Okay.
Jeremiah found an idol clue and later found there's an idol somewhere within our tribal council seating area. Which he actually passed it over to me at one point because that was around where I just screwed Jason for immunity. So I thought if Jason still has 2 idols, I'm like he might vote for me just out of spite. So I actually told Jeremiah once the voting was over, I'm like, give me the idol. So he actually gave it to me. And if Jason had played an idol on himself and an idol on Kurt, I would have then played the idol just to make sure my ass wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then so we did. We only. Oh yeah.
What?
I don't think anybody did that. Yeah. So I had your guys' idol in my hands at one point.
Wow.
Yeah. So then.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Jeremiah found it under Twyla's stump. She changed out her.
Yeah, I don't know where he. I think he actually found it as I was voting. I came back and he shows me, he pulled it out of his pocket. And he found it. I'm like, oh, okay, there's that.
He's in our chat room right now, so if he wants to clarify that. But from what I heard, Twyla wanted to change out her stump, but she did not see the idol. Jeremiah saw it, picked it up, and he suddenly had an idol.
Yeah, I think.
Jeremiah had a clue to it. He got
he
had
a clue to it.
Yeah, he unwrapped a clue and a storytelling challenge. He found a clue on one of the wrapped discs. So he knew it was at tribal council. I think it says something like it's stand up and move toward the fire maybe. So I thought it was right behind.
There was actually another clue on a torch, and he found the clue on the torch, which then said basically it was under a stump. So it was actually kind of a little bit of a challenge to find it. So.
Yeah, like I said, I came back from voting and there he had it, so I don't know how he got it, but he did.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This is the stuff when I'm not following production notes, I miss.
Yeah. So anyway, that becomes very important because after Jason plays his idol and then Kirk goes, I mean, I really don't want an idol. I don't want people knowing I have an idol. So I'm like, I just get back to Jeremiah. I didn't want to make a big scene about me, withholding it from him as if he just gave it to me. So I'm like, here, have it back. So whoops, sorry, Twyla.
Yeah, Jeremiah said he got the clue and said it was at tribal, so he was looking everywhere. Go ahead, Amanda.
I was gonna say so as for the next tribal council, then.
So we knew that Jeremiah had an idol at that point. So I went and told Spencer and them immediately.
And so what happened kind of was we thought, well, they're not going to vote for Jeremiah because they know he's got an idol, so he would of course play it. So then I was like, okay, they're totally going to vote for me. So I basically asked for the idol, and he's like, yeah, okay. But the whole time we were at tribal council, we were just trying to read what was going on. Okay, like who are they going to vote for? And I just kind of like stared at everybody like intensely, just was trying to figure out like who are they going to vote for? And then something just clicked in my head. I was like, it's me. It's totally me. So then I was really hesitant because if I would have played it and then they would have voted Jeremiah, I would have felt terrible. So I ended up playing it. But the one thing I regret is that we should have totally Ericked Spencer when he gave up that necklace. We should have.
Oh, that was that round, yeah.
Switched it over to Spencer instead of Twyla. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought about when.
Is it because you guys couldn't talk about it? I mean, 'cause whenever you were for Twyla, I was surprised you didn't go for Spencer at that point.
Yeah, well, it was just it was right there. He gave up the necklace, and then Laura was there, and I didn't want to like start talking and stuff because then I didn't know if the whole immunity play was going to work out the way we wanted it to. So, but basically, I wish we would have just voted out Spencer. I wish I would have just turned around and been like, Jeremiah, vote for Spencer right now. Just do it. And we could have totally taken out Spencer because then honestly the challengers, then would have been the only real challenge threat at the rest of them. So Jeremiah and I or Laura could have maybe potentially won. I would have won that memory one, the next one that I got immunity, but coulda, woulda, shoulda, I guess. So.
Hey Jason, I don't know what you're balling up, but just use recycle bins next time. Just put it in
It's not me. It's my wife being just a weirdo.
All right. So, two things. One, how ironic that is. That's another, like Andy Baker says, coulda, shoulda, woulda, done that because I think it was at that point that Spencer went on his immunity run. That he won, I think, like 4 in a row.
Yeah.
To that point, and at the same time, Jason, what is the jury talking about right now when Spencer gives that immunity up? What do you guys think is going to happen?
We're absolutely mind-boggled on the fact that everybody didn't jump on Spencer right there and then. It's the perfect time to get him out. He's obviously showing a power in all his challenges until he choked. And he just hands over everything that's saving him in the game, and everyone there goes, oh, okay, no worries.
I think Spencer's thought process was, though, that would have put a huge... It would have been like targeted, I guess. If people would have switched and started voting for Spencer, then it just would have been chaos because then the 3 strong Ohas, though, would have just it could have gone kind of. I just feel like it would have been really chaotic. Trust would have been gone. They still had the numbers to vote all of us out, and then do their thing with Spencer at the end. But I just think that's.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Spencer was kind of maybe talking to you guys more than Twyla was, so you thought maybe he could potentially be working with you versus while Twyla was firmly on board with Opa. That's kind of how I was seeing them a little bit.
Yeah, and I honestly didn't really believe anything Spencer said, but I guess, again, that's why I wanted the survivors out. But I think that perhaps Laura and Jeremiah could have. I think Laura actually did really trust Spencer at one point, so I think that would have been hard to do as well. So it was and it's hard at Tribal. You really don't have time to do
This is another point of that comparison thing to the real game, where is the time factor. Because Opa Bill had 4, and they had Maria. You guys only had 3, and if you took out Spencer and the blind side, they still have 4 when it's all over with, and you guys still have 3. And you're right, it's a tricky thing because if you'd had 8 hours, maybe you could have talked to Maria, maybe you could have talked to Rachel, and try to put people in a better light. But it's a time thing, and it comes with building alliances from the beginning. Like Ryan's been talking about making connections with people, making connections with Laura, at the Kidnap Tribe, and making everything comes back. Everything happens for a reason. And there is a lot of luck to it, but at the same time, to me, social game is 60% of this game. And like Jason said, Ryan had that in spades. He just kept making contacts, kept making conversations, and just every opportunity, locking in people and talking to them. But you blindsided Twyla, and that was pretty exciting. That was a neat little tribal council that I don't think a lot of people saw coming.
And honestly, I think that next to Spencer, she was a bigger threat. Personally, we thought than Maria or Rachel. So that's kind of why we just wanted to take Twyla out. We just, getting the survivors out was just our key thing going. So, that was kind of, and it was totally, we didn't think there was no way she could have an immunity. So we didn't think it was going to backfire or anything. For all we know, Spencer could have been hiding something. So I don't know. But that's definitely something I would have changed is voted Spencer out right then and there.
The good thing about Twyla, she got to that volunteer tent faster than she got through that obstacle course. Because I think she was starving to get up there. And it was so funny because she was still up there when the jury got called. And they had to call for her to come back and be with the jury.
She wasn't done. She wasn't done.
No, she wasn't done. But then, however, we get to the next challenge in the next tribal council, and it's Amanda's turn. No idols to protect, no extra votes. They take out the challenge beast. They took out challenge beast in Jason. They took out the next challenge beast in Amanda. So how bad was that?
Like how bad it hurt?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I knew it was coming. Like, as soon as I messed up that last sequence, and I still play the sequence over my head. I know all 7 of them, but I don't know why it messed up. But I don't know. I knew as soon as it was done. I mean, there was no even question.
I think at that point, I want to say that we may have even told them, like, hey, we like you guys. It's been great, but it's probably going to be E3. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because at that point we had the numbers, we thought there was just no need. I have been kind of playing all day long, kind of playing like a little bit of both sides, like talking to Ahasto and thinking I'm going to go with you guys eventually. We'll eventually make a move. Fully intent on sticking with OPA. But at that point I'm just like, here's what it is. We don't really lie about it anymore because we kind of had the numbers. So, best of luck, but we're not probably going to break up.
So it does fall in that order: Amanda, Jeremiah, and then Laura. So, Jason, you've got a jury of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. You're waiting for one more. Is there a consensus? Are you guys talking about a winner, or are you guys just having fun in the sun?
We're already talking about a winner. At this point, we're sitting there weighing the option. It came in our heads. It already came down between Ryan and Spencer.
Yeah.
It just how it falls. It basically went in our head of if Ryan wins the challenges that count, Spencer's going to go home, Ryan wins. If Spencer wins the challenges that count and Ryan goes home, Spencer wins.
Mm-hmm.
But if Spencer wins the challenges and keeps Ryan, Ryan wins, Spencer made a dumb move.
Right.
And vice versa, on if Ryan was to keep Spencer around.
They would have pulled a woo.
Yeah.
So.
It was, are you going to pull a woo? If you do, you deserve to lose. Otherwise, if the only other aspect was if one of the girls win and both the guys go into the finals because of a girl win, Ryan wins. Ryan was in more favor of winning depending on how things fell than anybody else. The question was, is he going to destroy his own chances or is he going to be smart? And he was smart, even though he pretty much was winning on a lot of different options.
How hard, Ryan, was it to get the girls to vote Spencer with you in the final travel?
The Final Four?
Yeah.
It wasn't hard. They were set on it.
I
were.
think so.
I think it was harder on me, to be honest. I mean, I really didn't really want to vote out Spencer just because I thought that we had really been. It'd been like I felt like it had been he and I the entire time. And then at Final Five, he tried to make a move against me, to his own benefit with Laura. Try to get Maria to vote me out, but Maria and Rachel just felt loyal to me, so I didn't go for that. But at that point, Spencer tried to get me out. I'm like, well, fine, I'm voting you out then. That's I won the next challenge, and that's what we did. And Maria,
Ryan, you did the right thing. If you would have kept Spencer on your doing, you lost. Just because everyone looked at it and said you had it, you had the entire win, and you brought him.
Yeah.
That's the cardinal sin for me in Survivor. You don't take somebody that deserves to be in the final three. You take people that don't deserve, or at least you know you can beat. I don't want to sit with people that deserve to be in the final three because that lessens my chances. I want to take people I can beat. And nothing against Maria and Rachel, but Ryan has a hard time beating Spencer. It's a much closer vote, I think, because of the way Spencer played. So Ryan has a better chance against Rachel and Maria. I mean, and that's unfortunately how you play the game.
Yeah, sucks, but you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Two nice people, because I like Rachel and Maria.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would not say they're undeserving at all. No, I think they probably deserve more than an 8-0 blowout. But
because, like you said, Rachel was a little bit lower on the pecking order until she socially worked her way into the game.
I thought she played a great game. And Maria, she showed that she was willing to make moves for herself and go out of, step things out of her game and shake things up. So I thought we all had cases to win. Going in against them, I mean, I think I just kind of proved that I just had the stronger case and easier against them.
Yeah, I agree that they both had good cases. Yeah, he deserved it.
Blowout.
Yeah.
Make it clear. He deserved an 8-0 blowout.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yeah, I understand.
It was a consensus. Everyone looked at it the same. It was clear everyone was thinking you deserved to win earlier, and nobody would even go against it.
Yeah, and it's funny because during that challenge,
win after win, and your social game, they didn't come close to being on the level of playing field that you put yourself in. And that was your doing. So the blowout was just.
Yeah, I was an opportunistic confessioner because I grabbed Amanda after the John vote because she was not on the right side of that vote, and I wanted to know how she felt, and she wasn't too happy. I think she was a little nervous and worried at that time. And I also grabbed Ryan right after the whole game merge voted him most deserved to win first thing Sunday morning. And I asked Ryan, I said, how did that feel?
I thought I was done. I thought that vote and then also winning like the tile, the knockout challenge, it always points to as a person who's on top of everything and is going to win. So I knew from then on I had no shot. I thought I was really at one point they were going to go back to that and say we have to vote him out, and it almost happened at 5. I was one vote away from being voted out then, but luckily I just really had a strong tie with Maria and Rachel, and they were willing to go for it. They were willing to go to the end with me and not backstab me at that point after having been with me for so long at that point. So really, I mean, I owe it to them for not flipping on me when they probably should have.
It makes me wonder if you had gone on a 4 challenge win run, if Spencer had been able to win them over and said, we can't take this guy because he's going to beat us. So Spencer going on that run, I mean, that may have helped your favor as well.
I don't know. I don't think it was really a thing about him winning or me winning at that point. I think they just. And maybe I'm wrong. I felt like they just felt closer to me, so they would have wanted to go to the end with me over him. I don't really know if me winning more immunities would make them think otherwise. I mean, who knows? But I felt like I had a stronger connection with them, and that's ultimately why they went with me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, strategically, they should not have went with me. So I really feel like it came down to more of a personal vote out of loyalty to me than it was strategically to, try to vote out the person who they could beat less.
Yeah, I was never played the single game, the merge game. Jason, I would think to a degree, if somebody keeps winning challenges, that you might be tempted to bond with the people that aren't wearing that necklace. If somebody continues to win, especially if they're not in your alliance, that you would almost bond with the other losers, because that's kind of what you are. That's what I was thinking, that if you're not standing there with Rachel Maria while Spencer getting the necklace 4 times in a row, they start seeing you differently. I don't know, just a thought. It's a quick game. You never know how it's going to flow.
Yeah, again, spread out over 30 days. Yeah, it's probably different than what it was. I mean, also for $1 million, I don't think they would have done what they did. I think they would have thought I need to make a move to make sure I win versus one of us winning kind of thing.
But in their head, some of them were. Maria was trying to make a move. She was buffing her resume. It was Rachel that didn't do as much as she should have.
Yeah, strategically, I think she should have made a move against me and probably Spencer. I think they should have. If they had voted out me at 5, Spencer was not winning that Final 4 challenge. Rachel was if I had not been there. So I think at that point they may have all been all those 3 girls, Rachel, Maria, Laura, in the Final 3 had they voted me out of 5. And then I think probably Laura wins, to be honest. I don't know. I think I may have voted for her at that point. So among the Final 5, I'm not really sure if there was a move they could have made to secure one of them winning. It kind of just depends on how it would have all played out. But
you went out Final 5. I still don't think either of the 2 girls have a resume to win.
Yeah, because then it becomes if Spencer makes it against them.
Or makes it the underdog card.
Yeah. If he goes out at Final 5 and Spencer doesn't win 4, then it's Laura, Maria, and Rachel.
Yeah, and I think Laura wins. I think Laura would win.
I think she gets the comeback vote, the playing by underdog vote.
And that's why I said that at Final 5. I said that, look, if I go now, like Laura wants me to, she's got the best shot to win, because who broke up this really core alliance? She did. Who made it all to the end despite all the odds?
They put themselves in a bad situation.
Yeah.
They put themselves in a coattail ride situation. There's nothing bad against them. They just didn't do enough in their resume building to put them in a position to be able to beat the others that were standing next to them.
Yeah, we're sitting off to the side saying the only way anybody beats Ryan is if that person pulls the move against Ryan and gets Ryan out of the game. And that seemed to be the only way somebody else could build a resume to get past him, because he had the social vote, he had the physical vote, he had a great game plan. So, but it was good. It was a great season. Did it live up to your expectations, Ryan?
Oh my God! I mean, I words don't even do it justice. It was the blast time of my life. I mean, I'd go do it again next year if they let me, but they probably won't.
Now, are your writings on another site or just your Facebook page?
Your
recap.
Oh, I just post. It's on like I just created a blog specifically for this, and then just link it from my Facebook site. So yeah,
What's the blog address?
I think it's like Survivor.
I told you, so we could promote it.
I know it's like whatever.
He'll be his friend on Facebook. Everybody go join him on Facebook. He'll be
Yeah,
glad
that'd be
to
great.
accept you.
It's just survivorryan.blogspot.com. So
Okay, go find that, and you'll get a very detailed recap of what Ryan went through. What about you, Amanda? Did it live up to everything you wanted?
Yeah, it definitely. The challenges were just very real. I don't know. It was very intense. And just the intensity of the vibes that you got when it came to voting people out. I really didn't think it was going to be like that. Just the whole feelings where you just started to feel maybe sick in the stomach, or just like you just got worried and paranoid. So it really, I feel like, just simulated what the actual show was like, and it actually lived up to be more than I thought it was going to be. So all around, it was just a great time. Met a lot of cool people. It was very awesome.
yeah, that's the best thing. I think just meeting the people, who really we're all brought together because we just love this show so much, and we would without it we would have never crossed paths, and that's just kind of the coolest thing when you meet people you would have never met and form some friendships that probably hopefully will last a lifetime.
Oh, yeah, they do. I met 23 people that I got to spend 4 days with, and now when I see them, I hug them. The first thing I do is I hug them, and then we just start talking. It's the best, it's the neatest thing of that whole experience. If you get to play, you come out with 23 friends, no matter where you finish or no matter how far
More
you
than that, I mean, so you meet the crew, meet all the volunteers, the people that are watching. It's just it's a huge community, yeah.
So one other question, Amanda. When you do get on the real show, what lessons from that weekend are you going to remember when you get on there?
Well, when I get on the real show, the main thing I will take away from this is apparently I wear my emotions on my face too much, and when I'm angry or pissed or whatever, it's very apparent in my face. So I really need to work on not looking so angry all the time, even though I really am angry at a lot of moments, but also not making my lines so apparent, like it was just so obvious, and that's something else I would work on. But yeah, those are probably definitely the two biggest things, and yeah. So.
Awesome. So we talked at the beginning, Jason, before you got on, about what they did to prep and stuff, and you had about 4 days, I think, to prep.
Pretty much.
For when you got on. So did it live up to everything you thought it would be, or more?
I mean, it was definitely more. I really didn't have any knowledge too much besides, I mean, I met Bob and Steve Pickett and everybody in LA for the reunion show. And they kind of talked about it, but I didn't put a lot of thought into it because I had time and they were trying to get me for next year. And then when it happened, and I got the phone call in the middle of the night, and then I had you texting me immediately of, "You better come. You better come." It all came quick for me. And you had sent me a bunch of info on all the past seasons so I would know what I'm getting into. And I was about to check it out, and then I didn't. And I just said, I'm going to go into this raw. I don't want to know nothing. Let's hope it lives up to everything that I've been told. And it really did. That and more. I wasn't expecting it to be as put together, as challenging as it really was. So it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I had the opportunity to do it. And it's a great cause at the end of the day. It's helping. There's two causes in the world that I love, and it's causes for autism and anything to do with veterans. So obviously, what Bob has built on his land and giving the opportunity to all these former vets to be able to come there and just enjoy everything that Bob's built, and to be able to do it and let him help these families that don't always have these opportunities to do so. I think it's amazing. So I'm glad I was able to be a part of this and to see all the people that rally behind it and support this cause and how great it is and how passionate they are for it. I'm really honored to be part of it and allowed into this family and do my part to make it everything it was. I wanted to put on a heck of a show for all the people playing and give them as real Jason experience as possible. So I was me, and I was loud, and I was blunt. I held nothing back. I played to win and threw my blindsides at my own people and tried to weasel against the others. So, I think I did my part, and I'm happy that I was able to and give everybody an enjoyable experience.
Absolutely. Before we sign off and say our goodbyes, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room that played. Jeremiah's been in there, Dan's in there, Donna's in there, Kurt's been in there, and Rachel came in and joined. I think that's everybody that played that's in there. Quite a nice group in there. In fact, there's probably another whole podcast in the chat room that we didn't get to comment on, so there's plenty to read in there. Any final words? Amanda, I'll let you go first. Any final thoughts or just suggestions to players for next year?
So again, just I think the main thing is just to go out and have fun, and like Jason was saying, know that it's for a great cause, and just build relationships with people. As far as the gameplay, I would recommend doing a little bit of physical workouts, just get used to not eating a lot, sleeping on the ground. But all in all, I would say go out. If you do get selected, just have fun with it. Play hard, play to win, definitely. Don't just go out there and completely have fun. But I think as long as you just go all out, make big moves. That's the fun part of it, and just have fun with it. So that's what I'd recommend.
Hey, Jason, you just had a nice long speech, but you got any final words?
First off, follow me on Twitter at SargeJason. Got to plug that. Follow my
Jason, where do we get one of those shirts at?
Mike Calloway's website at sweetteasdesignshopping.com, and you get an Embrace It Sucks shirt. Help out the Autistic Play Place, autisticplayplace.org. Big center that needs a lot of help. It's great for families in my local community to help kids with autism and all special needs children around the community. They need a lot of help, and everything they do is off donation, so please help them look into it. And I thank everybody in the Durham Warrior Challenge, especially the cast and crew, for letting me be a part of it and meeting all you guys, Dan, Kurt, Donna, everybody. I really appreciate it.
And I thought I said everybody, but lo and behold, I missed Derek apparently. So I have to give a separate shout out to Derek in our chat room for being so awesome. And I'm glad he got his hat back. And I'll give the final word to the champion of Durham Warriors Survival Challenge Season 4. Ryan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, first of all, just thank you so much. Everybody involved, from the Crowleys especially, for having us all come to their land and property and spend 4 awesome days there meeting awesome people. Everyone, just the crew, the volunteers, the audience, and the players. It just meant so much to have so many people there, putting this on for us and letting us compete and have the time of our lives. I could go on and on and on about how grateful I am for the opportunity, and it's just awesome. I just, like I said, words don't do it justice how great this experience was for me.
Yeah, if you want to know how much fun it is, look at how many people come back just to volunteer.
Yeah, I'll be back every year just to watch.
I think 75% of my cast was able to come back and volunteer this year. It was so awesome. So that's all I got. Dwayne's back on to close us out. We've gotten final words. We've almost hit 3 hours. We've almost hit 3 hours. Thanks for bringing food in here. And that was really fun. So thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks
for playing. Anything else, Dwayne, we need to talk about?
Maria says, David, tell Jason that the DWSC people are here and say hi. I really enjoyed. Go ahead. What, David?
Oh, sorry, one more question. Donna wanted me to ask Jason, how does a blonde eat a banana?
Say what? I don't remember, Don. I think you're going to need to show me again.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Oh, boy. Hey, all. Thanks for listening and watching Survivor Talk with D&D. If we're new to you, check us out, stwdd.com. We do Survivor Talk with D&D. We also do a show called Movie Talk with D&D. In fact, David and I are about to do the movie Everest. And shop Amazon using our links. And if you like us a lot, become a patron. Thanks for being on the show, everybody.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, there you go.